Hey everyone, a quick note about this episode. The sound quality for Sonic the Hedgehog 1 might sound a little bit off. That's because we had some technical issues with our audio recording and we were unable to recover it properly, so we had to use some of our backups. It's not too bad. We did our best to try to make it sound like every other episode of Shelf Life, but you're going to hear some differences. So apologies for that. If it's a concern or it's very unsettling for you, just skip to the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 part of the episode. That sounds like your usual quality Shelf Life episodes. Oh, one other note about the one co-creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, Yuji Naka. We recorded this episode before he was sentenced and pled guilty to insider trading in Japan. So we weren't exactly able to bring that up on the show, but just keep that in mind as we kind of talk about some of his contributions to the game. Anyway, now please, back to Shelf Life, Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, already in progress.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Do you want to play a video game?
do you want to do the show?
Well, yeah, but
Okay, well,
we could do both.
we could do both. Okay, that's better.
Yeah, just sit there.
Okay.
No, we'll just have to. This is weird.
What are we going to do?
Well, I got all the.
Wait, before you say anything, let's get out the Genesis.
I like that idea. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
I'm Rachel.
Welcome to Shelf Life. We're we're doing something a little bit different here on Shelf Life. So again, why should I go through the spiel? Because this is different. We could have new listeners. So welcome to the show. This is a podcast in which a brother and sister team go through all things pop culture, and we determine whether or not they belong in your shelf, virtual or digital. Today is the first episode in which we are going into the realm of video gaming.
Why did you say it like that?
What
Video games.
video game. Yes, video games. We are going into so again, video games can have a shelf.
Yes.
That's where
Oh,
they used to
absolutely.
be. That they didn't used to be downloaded directly into your GameCube or what have you.
I don't think they GameCube. I think they understand, but at the same time, GameCube did not have digital, but that's fine.
They might have.
No, they didn't.
Folks at home, let us know. No, but I mean, my point being that a lot of the new games, people don't necessarily go out and get the CD and install it. They just buy the digital, which is just as
That's true.
good, I guess.
Yes. I guess it kind of depends
All
because
right,
a lot
so
of the times it like is being held by a company, so then you have to have that specific software company in order to play that game that you want to play.
yeah, games suck now. I think what we should basically come up with here is a little bit about one our experience with video games, and then we can definitely introduce what's up for the shelf today because I want to make this clear when it comes to gaming, and it comes to your two hosts, your two fearless pop culture adventurers.
Yeah.
Yes, is that good?
No, yeah, I like being called adventurer.
I think that's what we are.
Yeah.
We're explorers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Video game histrionics. I'm having a Rich Evans moment. One of us.
Histrionics. Like
One
I
of
feel
us-
like I could just totally DJ that.
One of us has way more experience than the other. If we're talking who has the experience here when it comes to video gaming,
That'd be me.
that's yes.
That'd be me. I am the gaming nerd.
Post 1998, 1999, I don't think I have a lot other than Madden.
You are a Madden player.
Can you put that on the list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did you play Madden the most with? Because then we can add them to the list.
Well, they will definitely be special guests, I assume.
Because I never really played Madden.
No.
You would play it. I loved the music because, God
Wow.
forbid, I wouldn't hear it every freaking day when you were playing it.
Played
But
it quite a bit. Hours of it.
yes,
Keeping you up at night because me and the guys would be playing it
yes,
to like 3 in the morning,
yes.
and you could hear it.
Ah.
You should have just came down and learned the game.
But you didn't really want me to learn Madden. I tried at one point. You didn't want me to play Madden.
Well, you have to know
But I played everything
football.
else
Yeah.
under the sun.
Yeah, but everything else, completely everything else.
I more so watched the graphics change on Madden. Go
Sure.
from
We'll talk about Madden.
Okay, I'm sorry. Even recently, I came up with a picture of me at 1 year old playing Doom.
Yes. Add that to the list. The whole thing. So anyway, the other part of that is I'm going to get terminology wrong for modern gaming for sure, and not understand a lot of things that go on in modern gaming or have some facts wrong. I'm sure I will, because I just don't understand it.
I would imagine most modern gaming terminology came from old school terminology.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like changed.
But my point being that if we're going to talk about more modern video games, terminology from modern video games, that kind of stuff, you're going to have to teach me, and I am going to make fun of it. Just like I would make fun of pro wrestling in our Royal Rumble episode, which is the stuff I like. It's what we do.
Yep.
Don't be offended.
Nah, I am maybe a part of that world.
Yeah.
However, no, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
No, I mean we're teasing, but what we're basically saying is we're gonna go over this stuff, and we want you to just have fun with it. If you're a new listener, if you're an old listener, this is old hat to you, and you can fast forward the last 2.5 minutes. I'm sorry that I didn't tell you to fast forward the last 2.5 minutes.
No, they figured that out.
Oh, okay.
They understand at this point.
Rachel, what is up for the contention to the shelf today?
The little blue ball with spikes and red shoes. He's very fast. You would say he's Sonic fast.
I was trying to think of something else that could be a little blue ball with red shoes and spikes, and I couldn't think of anything. So
yeah, I don't think there really is another thing that actually represents Sonic because he is Sonic.
So, yeah, he's iconic. What is it?
Sonic the Hedgehog. That's right. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. 1 and 2. That's the ones we're at least starting.
We're doing 1 and 2.
Yes.
We could have done the whole trilogy. The whole initial trilogy.
Is it 3D though? Isn't the third one 3D?
No, I think the third one looks like this. Okay, all right.
Isn't it called Sonic 3D?
No, there's Sonic 3D Blast.
Okay, that's like the fourth.
Sonic 3 is Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles.
That brings
I think
Knuckles into it. Okay.
All right, so we don't have a lot of experience with Sonic 3 yet.
No.
I don't know. I
don't
might have
remember
played it a little bit as a kid.
I remember the Dreamcast and playing Sonic on that, and then you had to like hatch the eggs and stuff.
That game's
That's another one.
Yeah, well, just that maybe.
Oh man, Emerald City. It was Emerald City. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember it being in Emerald City.
Sonic Adventure?
Probably.
There's Sonic 3D Blast. That one was bad. Sonic Adventure. They're all pretty much bad after Sonic 3.
Well, then they just kind of decided, let's put Sonic in everything. So we have Sonic Pinball. You have Sonic doing the Olympics now with Mario. I don't know if you knew about that one.
I knew about Sonic. I knew about
the Olympic ones. Yeah. So, I mean, they're just kind of going, yeah, Sonic can do anything, even though he probably can't. He's just fast.
Yeah, there's not a Sonic kart. There's not Sonic.
No, there
tennis.
is. There's not a tennis, but I think there is
Sonic
a
golf
kart one. I think, yes, there is a Sonic Golf. Wait. I don't want to be quoted on this one, because I feel like there is.
You don't let somebody correct you at home?
No, not at all.
Oh, you could also find Sonics near us right now.
You know, that fast food joint has nothing to do with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Wait a minute. We're doing Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah, no.
I thought we were reviewing Sonic the fast food joint.
Stay tuned.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm gonna make it. Well, I guess it's not like you're talking about like on a car.
What is it?
These are all the games.
Just click on racing games.
So Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the 8-bit 2.
We're going through the whole
Sonic
gameography.
Chaos? Maybe it was Chaos Emeralds or something. I think it's the one I'm thinking of.
No.
Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic Adventures. Yeah, there's the Dreamcast
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there. 1998. Drift.
Sonic Drift. It's got to be Sonic. Well, there's Sonic Racing Kart, but it's a mobile phone game, so it's probably Sonic Drift. Because mobile phone game released in 2003 could not have been very good. I see it. So
I was right.
yeah.
Yeah, but they make Sonic pretty much do everything. So yes, there probably are all of those things.
But why are we starting video games with Sonic, Rachel? What is your? Do we have an emotional core? What? Why Sonic for the first one for you? History for you
Well,
with Sonic.
I guess it's just like growing up. This was like a game you and I would play together on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
And the music
Well,
and everything, you like all of a sudden you get those feelings back.
I will one up you
Okay.
on this because you were too young to be cognizant.
Are you sure? I think this is all core stuff as to how
Well,
I
no,
was
well, hang on.
created.
Yes, but I must have you. I think you were around because I'm fairly certain that we got a Sega Genesis because keep in mind our dad is just a big kid, and the fact that I'm older than dad was at the time that we got the Sega Genesis. I opened the Sega Genesis at Christmas in 1993,
I wasn't running
92,
then.
92 or 93. I don't remember.
Okay, so I really wasn't cognizant.
No, you were not. That's what I'm telling you. And it came with two games. Or it came with one game and dad bought another one.
It was probably that one.
It came with. So the first two games we ever had, I can't really remember this, but like something tells me this happened. Maybe it's a video or something of mom being like, "This is the family Sega Genesis," that kind of thing. There were two games. It came with Streets of Rage 2.
Ooh. Yeah, that's another core.
Yeah, on the
Put
list,
that on the list. Writing it down.
and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Not Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Right. So like you saying like why is this a core? Sonic the Hedgehog itself is just the whole
Sonic
thing.
the Hedgehog, the character, yes,
right,
the icon.
right. But we did start with 2.
We started with 2. We've never beaten the game. We still haven't beaten the game.
No.
We probably never will beat the game
No.
without saving.
Right.
Because of the
And
fact that you
rewinding.
could not save. The amount of time
Yeah.
and energy that I put in as a child on Sonic the Hedgehog, afternoons would go by trying to get to this game, and the farthest I ever got was that oil zone
Okay.
with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
Never further. I don't think we ever played Sonic the Hedgehog until we got the PlayStation's like updated. Here's a bunch of Sega games that are really popular.
I think that's true.
I
Unless
don't
we
think
borrowed it from
my
somebody.
cousins had it,
Probably.
but
But
I
I
don't.
don't know. Did they have a Genesis or did they
Yeah,
just?
she had a Genesis.
Okay.
Because I would go in her room and play. Because they had like Vector Man and like some other
So
stuff.
maybe they had it, but
I don't remember
you didn't have as
anybody
much.
having Sonic 1.
Okay.
I remember playing Sonic 3 a little bit, but I do not remember anybody having Sonic 1. But Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is kind of the beginning. I mean, Doom, I probably was playing Doom before, but like non
Doom and
PC.
Quake,
Like Genesis was our first
Console.
We were a Genesis family because
Absolutely.
Nintendo was for squares. We are we are totally about the Sega Genesis. It leads us into kind of how Sonic came to be. The Sega systems, like they had the Genesis. It came out in '88, and it was considered to be a better system than Nintendo.
Right.
But Nintendo was dominating the market, and Genesis had good games on it. We'll get to Altered Beast, I'm sure.
Oh my god.
Some like
How could we
other
not?
stuff because Altered Beast
How
was the game that
rough.
came with the Genesis when it first came out.
Yeah.
And we picked it up at like a flea market or something.
Probably.
Like most things that we have are our father compulsively buying things as he found them throughout our childhood.
Because our dad's a gamer nerd too. He's a computer gamer nerd.
Yeah.
Yep. The chip off the old block.
Yeah, you are. But the Genesis was struggling to make sales with Nintendo, and Sega's thought with this was that they were going to have a contest where they needed to find an icon to match Mario. Nintendo's got
Yes.
Mario. We've got
Hmm.
Echo the Dolphin and Alex Kidd. We need a better mascot.
They didn't have that main person, that whole thing that embodies Sega. Like they had Mario embodies Nintendo.
And I did some. I'm gonna get these names wrong because I'm an ugly American and I'm not always gonna be able to say some of the Japanese fellas' names right that developed Sonic and stuff. So just bear with me. But they hold a contest to come up with the icon. And I got a lot of this info too from like different YouTube channels out there. I'm not gonna name them all because there's like a few, but like you can go out there and find some really good stuff about the history of Sonic.
Oh, it's
Um,
really interesting.
yeah. Well, and there's like even a documentary. I watched a documentary
On Netflix,
on Netflix.
there's a documentary on the games that made us, and
Oh,
Sonic
is
is
Sonic's
actually
one of
one.
them?
I'm
No, I
pretty
should have
sure.
watched
Let
that
me
though.
check that.
They hold a contest. They're trying to find a new mascot, and there were a bunch of ideas submitted. One of which we'll get to, it was a sketch that the people at Sega thought looked like Theodore Roosevelt. It wasn't supposed to. Like that was not the. It was supposed to actually be kind of like a take on Mario,
Okay.
which makes it even kind of funnier that he becomes the villain because that like it's like the evil
Oh
looking
my God, I
Mario.
do
I
like
kind of like
that.
that.
Yeah.
The winner happened to be by Naoto Yoshima. So Oshima submitted a drawing on a napkin called Mr. Needlemouse, and it was a drawing that he made of a hedgehog. He picked a hedgehog because they were in abundance in Japan, and they're known to be very fast for their size. They're not known in the United States, but well, at the time they weren't, but they were much more prevalent in Japan. And he wanted a game that went fast. So he won the contest because of the way it looked. He was teamed up basically with this programmer named Yuji Naka, and he wanted games that were faster. So this was like a perfect thing where like Naka-san basically said like, okay, we can definitely get a faster game out of this,
Yeah.
and we are going to be able to develop this thing into like a speedster game compared to like Mario or anything else that was out before.
Right. They wanted it to be challenging and quicker, and you have to kind of be on your toes.
Yeah. What the hell is that?
I just pulled up the original concept.
He looks like Bugs Bunny drawn by Walt
Yep.
Disney if Walt Disney was Japanese.
And that was the original concept. He wasn't always blue. It's one thing.
No, well, okay, so they redrew him as blue to match the Sega logo,
Yes.
which makes sense because you want your mascot to.
He also had a bow tie.
I think they could cut the bow
I think
tie.
they could have
I think
kept
that's pretty sharp.
it.
And they renamed him Sonic after Super Sonic,
Right.
which makes sense. And then the Sonic team was born, like to do a lot of this programming. Oh, and then the other things that they did were Michael Jackson being like so huge at the time, they wanted like him to wear boots. So they like initially put boots on him, and then
Hmm.
they changed it to red, and then they were like, well, let's make him sneakers because he's supposed to be fast.
And they look kind of like rockets.
Yeah, his boots are great.
Yeah.
And then he's supposed to have like kind of like a wise ass attitude,
Sure.
like a Bugs Bunny, because he's supposed to be more like
He's got a little bit more hardcore.
sass.
He's a
Because
little bit more like a teenager.
yeah, because the Genesis was supposed to be more like teenager, like sassy, like throw your Nintendo away, that's for babies.
Right.
And since Mario collected coins, Sonic would collect rings. Now, I have a Sonic comic book from when I was a kid that tries to explain the origin of why you collect rings.
Sure.
And the idea is if he has like a few rings on him, he can go faster in the comic like that.
Okay.
I don't know if that's continuity in the games, but in the
Interesting.
comic book that I read, his uncle, I think I can't remember, another hedgehog makes him because he's so fast already. He needs to harness his speed,
Okay.
so he has rings that help harness his speed and make him more faster.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea if any
Okay.
of that's in any of the video games, but I remember that vividly from one of my comic books.
Yeah, I don't remember that being in the video games, and I know now there's the Sonic movie.
There is the Sonic movie. Are
And
there rings in the Sonic
yes,
movie?
there are. Now, the rings in the Sonic movie don't have to do with making him faster, but they are portals. They
Okay.
use rings as portals
Okay.
to other worlds, and that is how he gets into the
Well, yeah,
human
at
world.
least they incorporated the rings.
Right. So
We
it's
don't.
kind of like how all the characters are moving around and like Dr.
Yeah.
Robotnik and everything, all of that kind of
Yeah.
goes through that.
So they started programming this game because they they were trying to harness the power of the Genesis and basically be like, we know this thing can go fast. Let's make a game that's really fast. They sent it over to the U.S. and the Americans were afraid that he looked too anime and that
Sure.
it wouldn't be appealing to. And I don't quite understand that.
Big eyes,
Yeah,
extreme sharp,
features.
right,
Yeah.
but like extremely like
Yeah.
enlarged or exaggerated features.
And apparently this was like a back and forth between the U.S. team and the Japanese team because they kept making him look softer,
Hmm.
cuter, cuddlier, and the
But
Japanese team
we don't
was
want him to
like,
be cuddlier
right, exactly.
because
They
then
wanted him to be
because
edgy.
they were targeting teenagers. Teenagers don't want
Right.
cute and cuddly. They want edgy. They want like badass characters.
So here are some notes about the America's ideas for Sonic. They gave him a rock band, fangs,
Mm.
a human girlfriend named Madonna. All great things. Who wouldn't want that?
I feel like I've seen fan art of like emo Sonic, and that's all I'm picturing there. It's like emo Sonic and a rock band.
Is there a whole sub genre of Sonic fan fiction?
Yes, and do not go down that rabbit hole. It gets very sketchy. But there
I
is
mean, there
like
are several characters. There's like a squirrel that was like Sonic's girlfriend, I think, on the TV show.
the pink one.
Well, there's also a brown one in the comic books for sure.
Oh, okay. I thought the pink one was his
There's a
girlfriend,
pink
but
one.
maybe I'm
No, there
lying.
might be a pink hedgehog that's his girlfriend.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some fan fiction about
Oh,
that.
100%. It's gross. I wouldn't. I don't even want to think about it because I just know that it exists.
Yeah, don't go, folks. If something pops up on your screen because you googled that, that's your own fault.
No, there is stuff with like Sonic the Hedgehog creepypasta.
Also disturbing because I was finding
But
that
it's
as I was
kind
looking
of
stuff up on YouTube.
interesting.
No,
That's a weird one to head down
no,
as well.
no. Yeah,
And
please
then there's
don't.
this thing where that happened on a VR chat room with Knuckles, and it was like a Ugandan person
What?
saying, "Do you know the way?" Do you not know this?
I don't know what
Wait,
you're
you don't
talking
know
about.
this? Hold on a second.
No, no, we're done. We're we're done for now.
Anyways, so there's a lot of weird things that people do on the internet.
He's an icon.
He's truly an icon.
So Madeline Schrader went over the ideas that the Americans team had, got rid of the fangs, got rid of the girlfriend, got rid of the band,
Yeah.
but she did make slight changes to the drawing.
Hmm.
And the Japanese team was pissed, but they accepted it because they thought that he was going to be bigger in Europe and America anyway. So
Hmm.
like, if this is going to be cuter, like for them, fine. I think it probably was the right idea because everyone loves Sonic the Hedgehog to the point where they're going to make a movie about him, and he doesn't look like that. That image of Sonic the Hedgehog's
It's a
original
rabbit?
concept art.
The rabbit.
No. I'm talking about the original concept for the movie. That terrible with the teeth
Oh,
and the
that's what you're
fur.
talking about.
Like the reason that there was so much backlash is because that doesn't look like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Not at all.
And you're making a cartoon character anyway, just make him look like Sonic. He doesn't
Right.
have to look like a blue hedgehog.
No, and I don't understand why they made him furry. Hedgehogs aren't furry. They have.
No?
Yeah.
Do they
Hmm.
really? Oh yeah, they kind of do. They're like a Brillo pad.
Yeah, that's why you can't touch. It's a hedgehog, Kevin. If
You
it
can touch them.
well, you got to be really careful because if you get
Folks
one of
at home,
those,
let us know if you have a hedgehog for a pet. Can you touch them? Do you pet
of
your
course you
hedgehog?
pet your hedgehog, but at the same time you got to be careful because the quill can get into you, and if it gets into you, that sucker is going to be real hard to get out because you can't just pull it out. It like rips on in the inside.
Oh, that's not good. Wouldn't you have to like shoot it out like a porcupine though?
Well, maybe I'm thinking.
I mean, that's what a porcupine does for sure.
No, I swear to God, like the
They have
hedgehogs are also
quills.
have quills, and then they hurt. You gotta be careful.
Well, we're gonna look this up. So then they needed to come up with a soundtrack. So they got one of the band members of Dreams Come True, a Japanese pop band, to come up with the soundtrack. And I bring that up because we're music nerds, we're soundtrack nerds.
Of course.
And the soundtrack for Sonic is fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think that it would have had as much of a muscle memory for anyone in our age range if you didn't have the soundtrack
No, I agree.
to go along with it. Like the music brings jump here, oh yeah, get the ring here, all that stuff is partly because of the soundtrack. And the way he describes it of how he went about doing it, Masato Nakamura, who is the composer, describes it is that he didn't want it to be a video game soundtrack. He thought of it as a film score.
Okay. That's probably a better way of doing it.
So he was thinking in his head, Sonic the movie.
Okay.
Two things about this. One, you've seen the movie, I have not.
Yes.
Unless we do it for this show, I don't think I ever will. Did they have the video game score at all?
I think they do. I think they do hit on
Like
it a
you could
couple of
hit it a
times.
little-
It's
hear
kind
it
of
a
like
little bit?
hinted in it, at like, big moments.
Yeah.
I think you do actually start off in the same place you start off in the video games.
Yeah, Emerald.
You
Green
start
Hill,
off in
Emerald
Green Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on which island you're on. But
Yeah, so it's Green Hill or Emerald Hill.
Yeah.
That's his home.
Yeah.
So that's where you start, and I'm pretty sure it does
That's
start with some of the music.
That, because I think it's the same in both the games that we're talking about today.
No, I don't think it's totally that. So
But
they've changed it. I feel
yeah.
like it's still there
Yeah.
in the mix.
Yeah. The game was still in development when he needed to start composing it so that they could get it out in 1991. So all they had were still frames and like what the backgrounds were going to be, like what the concept of the, so he basically had to do it off the script. So he was taking what he thought it was going to look like and making the score for it. And they all fit pretty well.
Right.
So
no, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it is really good. So they developed Sonic. It has the speed that they want. It's totally different than what they usually think about or usually came up with. They released the game 1991. It is a hit, but they're still lagging behind Nintendo. So the president of Sega in America decides to do some radical things to take over the market.
Oh boy.
He drops the price of the Sega Genesis to $149.99. So
that's
$149 now would be $312. So it's about I would say that they'd round it to $299. So like today it would cost you $299, which is still better than
the $1,000 PS5 that's going out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So still a deal. Because like compare that to Nintendo, because Nintendo's was $199. Yeah,
so no, it's
$100 more.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth it.
So $50 less in 1991, $100 less now.
Then they wanted to advertise against Nintendo. So they were going to directly like have commercials where they're talking about their competitor being worse. And them being better.
Right.
So not necessarily like negative ads, but like we're better, this isn't as good.
Right.
That kind of thing. And they did an interview with one of the like executives from Sega America that is Japanese in this documentary I watched.
Yeah.
And he was like, because they said they asked me if the Japanese Sega team was going to be mad about us advertising against Nintendo.
Right.
And he was like, I decided not to tell them because
obviously the answer is yes.
Well, he was like, I was going to tell them right before the commercials were going to start airing, and if they were like, no, we can't do it that way, he was going to be like, oh, it's too late.
Right.
So he would have like a deniability about it and like have to do it. And then the third thing was he was going to bundle the Genesis with Sonic, which is why when we got our Genesis 2, Sonic Hedgehog 2 was there as well, because it was just part of the game. Like, get the mascot,
right.
He's our mascot, this is our game.
Yeah, because even with the Sega Genesis logo that comes up on the screen, half the time it's Sonic rolling.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
Yes.
So the game becomes a huge hit. Everyone starts playing Sonic the Hedgehog. Anything else for Sonic the Hedgehog 1991, the first game?
No.
All right, so we will take a quick word from our fake sponsor.
We'll give you
when
one of those ads that they used to play.
When we come back, we will start literally doing a walkthrough. We'll do a play, well, not a real playthrough. We played a little bit. Well, we'll start talking about the first Sonic the Hedgehog video game.
Let's do this.
Danita Stokes, president of HAG.
It's bad enough that Sega Genesis has the most 16-bit games, but this new Sonic the Hedgehog, oh, he really duffed my doilies. They say he's incredibly fast. Well, what's the hurry, mister? And about his attitude. Smarty pants. Why can't it be more like that nice boy Mario? Oh! Little brat!
Sonic the Hedgehog, now included when you buy a Genesis system.
We're back with Sonic the Hedgehog from 1991. Yes, he wags his finger at you to tell you to start playing the game. So we've never beaten Sonic the Hedgehog.
No.
But what we did do was we tried to play it a bit to get that whole
The experience.
feel. Yeah, it's all about the experience. And we also needed to figure out exactly what the gameplay is, how it works, etc., to at least report back on it for this type of show.
Sure.
Rachel, what if you had to describe? Let's start because there's two things we have to do with video games, I think,
Okay.
which is different than our usual shtick, and that's you have to
Okay.
do gameplay and plot. So
All right.
I'll let you give a shot at it. I've got kind of my own plot up here. And I've
what's
got
the
the plot
plot?
from like Wiki, but start with the gameplay. How does the gameplay work for Sonic? What do you do?
It's a side scroller.
Mhm.
Okay, which usually means that you're going just left to right. It's not like a
The
3D
best video game a type. It's side scrolling.
And
Fight me.
you obviously play as Sonic himself.
The blue hedgehog.
Yes,
as discussed in the first part.
the blue hedgehog. And it seems like what you're trying to do is getting from one point to the end with all these loop-de-loops and places to jump and like all these little traps and things. A lot of different animals that were turned into robots. You just have to play all the way to the end of that location. And then you move on to the next location, and so on and so forth. And they're each themed. So you start in like the Green Hills. There's different areas that you get to go to.
Mm-hmm. But you're basically jumping around.
Yes.
Going.
Spinning,
He runs.
flipping,
Yeah, he goes
hitting
around under
enemies.
loops. Well, we watched that documentary on Netflix. What's it called? High Score.
High score.
One of the designers, I think it was Hirokazu Yashuro? Yasuhara?
Yasuhara.
Talking about how he was trying to make a game for Americans,
Yes.
and he, of course, based it off of roller coasters,
Right.
because there's nothing more American than idiots.
Fast, loop-de-looped roller coasters.
Yeah.
And don't call them idiots. I like roller coasters.
Me too, but I'm just saying, like, if you were to ask someone from another country, describe an American, roller coaster is pretty much the most succinct
Is it?
answer you can give. Yeah, I think so.
I thought it would have been fat, but okay.
Fat roller coaster.
Food, like the big lot of food.
Fat roller coaster could be a good, like, bluegrass punk kind of band
Ooh,
with
I
like that
kinda
kind of
like it.
like, yeah, we're fat roller coaster.
Huh.
Yeah, it's good. It's a
It's
great
really fast music, and
and
they're big dudes.
like their logo, the shirt is
Yeah.
like it's like a loop-de-loop, but it's like fat.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, like it's kind of like blown
A
up.
bit engorged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's say engorged. We can't say engorged on air.
Why?
So do you have an idea of what the plot is? Because I have from like the Sonic Wiki and like my own musings about what the plot
Okay,
is.
so I don't think I know like the exact plot. I don't remember I know they put the story in
The manual.
The manual.
Which is how stories used to get told for video games for our younger listeners. I used to read the manual
Oh, yeah.
to get the story
Oh yeah.
because I was a nerd. You needed to know what you were doing.
Right.
Well, how are you going to not know the backstory? Why is Sonic here?
What is our purpose?
Yeah.
I didn't read this manual as far as I know because we didn't have this game.
Correct.
But it seems kind of specific. We have this Dr. Robotnik character. This is the villain, right? And he has taken all of these different animals and he's changed them into other animal robotic creatures that become his minions. I don't know what his whole objective is. I know that there's these emeralds that maybe he wants, so maybe it's all about the money, all about the emeralds and power and things. But I know Sonic seems to be trying to thwart him by bringing all the animals back to their original purpose and just stopping him from getting these emeralds.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so Robotnik. Let's start with Robotnik.
Dr. Eggman Robotnik.
Not Dr. Evo Robotnik, as he is known here in America.
I know Eggman.
Okay, so
they even call him in the Dreamcast one that I was talking about like before.
Robotnik is an obese.
He's very
bald,
round. He's a very
white
rotund man.
He's a very bulging man.
With a handlebar mustache.
He has a gigantic
handlebar
mustache.
With a handlebar mustache.
In Japan, they always wanted him to be named Eggman. But when the Sonic America team got a hold of it, they named him Robotnik. So there was always this dissension between the two teams in Japan, and I don't know why Japan insisted it be Eggman. Robotnik's a better name.
Well, okay, I like Dr. Robotnik, but I also like Sonic making fun of him by calling him Eggman.
I'm fine with that too.
Because it does look like an egg. He looks like he's Humpty Dumpty.
Yes.
But with the handlebar mustache.
Yeah. Humpty Dumpty with a handlebar mustache is a pretty good way to describe
it.
And big, like, aviator goggles.
Oh, yeah. Because he's like a pilot, too. He kind of seems like he must be some sort of pilot. Because he's always in flying machines.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I will describe him thusly. He is basically Dr. Doom mixed with Thanos mixed with Wilford Brimley.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Balance and power. And
he's a genius.
Gems.
He wants to conquer the world.
Sure. Like every good supervillain. Making
a Robotnik empire, or the Japanese called it Eggman Land. There's lots of different.
That is a little
the
too
Eggman
cutesy.
Empire. Yeah, I thought.
Oh, I like Eggman Empire. That's better.
Oh, here we go. Here's something. He was born April 28th, 1942.
Oh.
According to his.
Wow, he has like an exact birth date. All right.
according to concept art for Sonic CD, he was born April 28th, 1942. So in the middle of the war.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. Does he have like an ethnicity?
Probably not.
Doesn't really say. So anyway, his objective is to take over the world using two things. He's obsessed with like robots and technology,
yes.
Making robotic technology, which is why I say that. But I guess the whole idea is it's nature versus machine. The Sonic franchise, because he's making the machines
and
kind of destroy nature.
Sonic is the nature fighting back.
Yeah. I don't know if that's explicit or implicit.
Sure.
Ultraplicit. But it is definitely there.
Some sort of plicit.
Then the other idea is he's going to take over the world using the Chaos Emeralds.
Yes, the Chaos Emeralds.
Which show up in these games. They're not the main driver of the first two Sonic games. They become more and more important as the games go on. They're basically the Infinity Stones. So
once you put them all together.
I looked this up. So here's a little bit from like just the Sonic fan pages and stuff. But the Chaos Emeralds are shrouded in mystery. They've been existed since before recorded time, just like the Infinity Stones. Although the Infinity Stones, I would argue, are pieces of God, but we'll get into that at some.
Jeez. Okay.
Rich Evans, I think, points it out on one of the Red Letter Media reviews of like they're basically God blew himself up because he was like ashamed of. Yeah, it's weird.
That's so sad.
So anyway.
Wow, that's so sad.
Different civilizations have gotten a hold of them, but there are these 6 different stones, and I think they become 7 in Sonic 2, where they, allow you to have infinite power. Basically what happens is they've been used by different civilizations in the past, and every once in a while they're used for evil purposes, and then the things break themselves apart when they're used poorly or they're used right away. Like they'll use themselves for a quick purpose and then they'll kind of spread out.
Okay.
It has this long history of where these chaos emeralds come from, and it comes up way more in Sonic 3 because Knuckles is like a protector of the stones.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
But anyway, the Robotnik's objective, is to find the Chaos Emeralds. And is part of Sonic the Hedgehog 1, there's this island called South Island. Again, this is me getting stuff from the manual that people have kind of put on the internet. And the Chaos Emeralds are buried in the island. That's where they've like buried themselves. They used to be on like different islands, but they move and it's very weird. They
It's
like
very
have
magical.
kind of sentient,
Yeah.
because it's a video game from the 90s where you didn't really have to have all this backstory necessarily for people to enjoy it. So how much of this
But
is
I kind of
actual
like that
canon?
there's a lot of backstory that I didn't know. I like this. Keep going.
So Robotnik lands on South Island in an attempt to dig for the stones to try to find the emeralds, so he can get the power. So he starts digging up the entire island. The thing about this island too is that it's always moving. I guess it's not. I guess it moves with the currents.
Interesting. Well, no, is it one of those where it's like the island is on a turtle's back type of thing?
I don't know.
Where it's
I
actually
don't
like
know
a magical place?
Well, I guess I mean, yeah, I guess it's supposed to be a little otherworldly. I mean, it's the hedgehog can talk. So,
okay, fine. Well, there's like a mythical creature where like there's an island on the back of the turtle and there's like mythical items that are on there. So it kind of sounds like they're taking it from actual like mythology.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I'm sure it has some sort of thing in
Okay.
that. Prior to Sonic the Hedgehog, based on what we're told, Robotnik and Sonic are already enemies. I guess they've had other adventures prior to this first game. We are not
I have
exactly
a feeling
privy
Sonic just
to.
doesn't like the fact that he turns animals into robots. I'm just saying. I feel like that's part of it.
I guess basically that's just kind of so Sonic comes to the island in an attempt to stop Robotnik.
Okay.
And then you're going through the island, like you said, and you're just trying to stop Robotnik. So here's Sonic's birthday. Yuji Naka, we talked about, he was the head of Sonic Team,
Mm-hmm.
decided it would be June 23rd, which is the same day as that it was released in 1990.
Well, you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
I like that. Works for me.
He was redesigned as a 15-year-old character, longer life. So he's supposed to be like a teenager, basically, which
Right.
makes sense because they were trying to appeal to teens. And he has that attitude, as we all know. Sonic is not a do-gooding hero.
No.
He does stuff
But he's
for
not a
his own.
saint.
He's not doing it out of like a sense of duty. He's doing it because he wants to be independent. He does it, he realizes he's supposed to have a little more edge to him than like your typical baby face, I guess.
Right.
So anyway, it's a little bit of where we're at with Sonic. He's got a lot of self-confidence. He's sassy. He is cocky, as we know in later games when he starts calling him Mega Man and stuff to his face.
Exactly.
I mean that's really what the game is, at least this first game. So we'll talk a little bit about the levels and how you kind of go through this, because each level has a different look to it and feel to it. So the first one that you go through is the Green Hill Zone.
It's supposedly his home, isn't it?
I mean,
Or
so
is that
that's what I
only
can't-
movie canon and
No.
not actually?
I don't know if that's true or not, just because of the way that I mean that I'm just looking at what like the manual and what like this Sonic fan wiki thing says.
Yeah.
And according to that, it would be that Sonic comes to the island to stop Robotnik.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there's other islands. There's a ton of other islands, and if like Sonic 2 takes place on a different island, but it looks pretty similar to this. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just kind of like all of these islands are like it's a big archipelago. And
Sure.
so
No, that makes sense to me.
so this is South Island, and it looks just kind of like a tropical island.
Yeah. A lot of waterfalls and palm trees.
There's loops of land, which
Oh
are
my
very strange, because like why are
Ribbons
there
of
these
land.
loops? But why are they there? Like how does that make sense?
Magic.
But what for what purpose?
Magic. Because like maybe
Oh, if when you see something like that, a wizard did
a
it.
wizard did it. Maybe because there's more than one hedgehog and some of them liked going fast, so they made themselves a fun path.
So,
Or,
well,
a lot
I
of
mean,
nature things
we don't
do
know
look
about
like
new
spirals,
hedgehogs.
so
Yeah, that's true.
golden triangles and rectangles everywhere.
Yeah, that's the spiral theory. I can't remember what that is from.
Golden ratio?
Yeah, something like
It's
that.
just the golden ratio. It's a real golden rectangle. It's just a spiral.
Let's see.
Anyways.
So what Sonic kind of stumbles upon and what the first level is again it's the patterns are all it's like a checkerboard pattern ground.
Yep.
There's palm trees, there's the loop-de-loops. I guess the other thing that you could espouse it to is what you're basically seeing is Robotnik has started, you know,
Has he
screwing.
changed the nature too? Do like the trees and like the plants also look pretty robotic?
I don't know if
I'm
the
wondering if he's like starting to
trees.
change like the land.
Well, he's definitely digging into the ground. He's doing stuff with the land, and I think that's part of like why there's like different levels and stuff.
Mhm.
Because one of the things about the game, and I think of what made it like kind of unique compared to the other games, is that you don't have to just go on a straight left to right like a Mario.
Right.
You can go the high route. You can go the low route. Sometimes there's a middle route.
Yeah, there's always like a little back route
And
that you can
so
go
there's
to.
different routes you can go, and the different routes might have different coins, or there might be secret lives or stuff on them. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's supposed to be like, oh, Robotnik's kind of like fudged with the land to get it into this state.
Sure. No, it would make sense to me.
There's like little villainous mechanical animals.
Yes.
Hidden inside are the other like the real animals, because he.
You mean like inside of that machine at the end, right? Once you beat the
Well,
boss.
yeah, no, but I'm saying like even if you pop one of the animals,
right,
like
yes.
the little chickadee or
bumblebees
whatever
and
comes out, yeah.
Flies, and then you got like some birds and pigs
Yeah.
and chickens and stuff that come out.
Shit, whatever. Yeah, so I think that's kind of the idea, is that you got the Robotnik doing that stuff, and that would explain why there's like the spikes, because he's like basically set up traps in case
Yeah,
Sonic
it kind of
comes
does
by.
seem like there's traps set, like specific traps and stuff.
Yeah, the springs and things like that, like
Yeah,
they're all
exactly.
supposed to be like traps for Sonic, which makes a lot of sense in the context of the game.
Or does the island change itself so that it itself puts traps up to like contain the emerald?
I mean, now you're talking like a sentient island. I don't know what
Yes, I am.
kind of world we're in now.
The sentient.
The Turtleback
world.
Island, yeah.
Yeah, Turtleback Island. Literally, Turtleback Island is what I'm thinking of.
Sounds like a t-shirt. Turtleback Island. It's a great vacation destination. There's got to be like an Emerald Hill Resort t-shirt, right?
They should make one.
Like that seems like a no-brainer.
Kind
And
of.
it's just a picture of like, the
The
landscape.
hills. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Done.
Yeah. I'd wear it. Wear it right now. So the way that the first Sonic game is broken up, it's in zones.
Yes.
And each zone has 3 acts.
Yep.
That's the phraseology we're
Those
using
are
in
the
Sonic.
phrase.
That's just the first one.
And the third act ends with a boss battle.
That's right.
With Dr. Robotnik.
Yes, Dr. Robotnik is the boss at the end of each zone.
It's not like a different boss each time. It's Dr. Robotnik.
It's Dr. Robotnik. But he's using a different
weapon.
Yes, each time. Or some sort of mechanical thing that he came up with.
Flames, a wrecking ball.
Do we have to explain the term boss as it relates to video games? Yeah. I mean, because it's a video game terminology. I did look this up because I was curious, because I was like, what is this from? Because like I always thought of like Streets of Rage having bosses because they were literally the crime bosses. But it goes back to like the early 80s at least, of there being crime video games and it being a crime boss. Like that was either it, or it has something to do with Bruce Lee movies.
Okay.
Where like the big battles he had to fight were always nicknamed as the bosses. So they took that in video games and they were like, okay, well at the end of each level you have like a boss or a mini boss or things like that. So I guess it goes way back.
Yeah, it seems like it does.
But it's stuck around because I mean you still consider different video games have boss levels.
Absolutely.
Not all of them, but a lot of video games will have boss levels. And at the end of the first zone, the Robotnik artillery is a big swinging wrecking ball.
Yes, he came in like a wrecking. That is correct.
Now all I can picture is Robotnik naked on the wrecking ball.
That's a picture for you. There's a T-shirt right there.
I don't know if it's a T-shirt, but I'm sure somebody's done it on the internet. It's a vast place. Okay, I can only picture Robotnik's voice based on like the cartoon, and
I know he sounds like Wario to me.
you think so?
In my head, he sounds like
Can we look it
Wario.
up? Let's look up.
Before this day is done, you and the power rings will be right in the palm of my hand.
This is a more meditative Robotnik.
Taste that polluted air, Sniffly. Isn't it marvelous?
No, release that.
Yes, sir. Delightful.
Was that how he looked?
Soon, all of Robotropolis will have the same fragrance.
I've called you all together because you're the worst
See, like that.
assortment of low-life
That's what I
mercenaries I ever made. You're mean. You're malicious. You're my kind of
Just a little grapple like
Yeah.
Since I launched
It's
my
probably a little
genius
bit.
plan
Troublesome hedgehog. What do you mean, not exactly? Either there is or there isn't.
Okay.
What have we here? Knuckles the
This one's-
Echidna. Good work, Sleet. I didn't think you had it in you.
Here.
I don't make deals.
Please accept a small token of my
Joker.
gratitude for coming all this way to see me.
Without me, Team Dark is nothing but a bunch of buffoons. Ah, this
They're all
is
kind
no
of them.
place for little girls or a big fat cat.
That
You call yourselves
sound.
Didn't know you'd be visiting so early. I'm still in my evil pajamas.
But this is more the Jim Carrey as well.
Sure.
That silly
Mhm.
voice. So versus that like
Well, he
robot's
looks.
like,
He,
"Wah!"
well, this one, if that's his new character design, he's slimmed down a little bit.
He's buff. He looks like he lifts weights. Like he's
Yeah, I prefer
like
my Robotnik to be a giant fat
around.
person.
I just want him to be a round ball
Yeah.
with skinny legs. That's all I want him to be. But that's also just how the game was.
Right. Well, I mean, he obviously doesn't talk in the first game because I mean, we're still talking 16-bit, so there's limitations here. But you basically defeat him in the first zone by
Well, you just kind of
you just
hit him,
hit
over
him
and
and
over
avoid
again.
the wrecking ball to get
Yes.
through it. And in between each level,
Yeah.
you want to talk about this?
I don't know how to talk about this because
We've
it
never
feels like a
successfully
trip.
done it. I don't
It
think
feels like
I
it-
don't think I've ever successfully done it.
Oh my gosh. So you can get to this point where you can go for one of the emeralds. You can actually try to catch
And you
one
have to
of the
jump at the
emeralds.
right time at the end of the first and second stage.
Yeah, to get like this weird angle to get like 400 points to
Yeah.
go to get the emerald, right?
I'm sure someone at home is yelling at their.
This is
at
the way
us,
to
like,
do
how to
it.
do it,
No,
yeah.
well, calm down. It's fine. This is the way we play, okay? Well, anyway, so if you actually get to this, it is a trip and a half. You got a lot of patterns going on, a lot of movements. It's spinning in circles, like this weird maze that you have to get through.
And somewhere the Chaos Emerald is like
Hidden.
in like this puzzle, and you have to
Right.
like get into it before you hit the goal.
Yeah, because if you hit a goal
Spot.
edge,
It ends your.
it ends it. And now you don't get the emerald. But if you can get to the emerald, well, now you have one.
Right. And you're trying to get all 6. Although it doesn't affect the game.
No, it
but, well,
doesn't feel like an objective. Like it doesn't like show itself immediately.
Yeah,
Like
well-
you actually have to figure out to jump like that to go get the
Yeah.
emerald.
And we'll talk about what we did, what happens at the end of the game, but the emeralds, that is an objective that you can try to beat.
Exactly.
Smash. Okay, so the second zone is the marble zone. Basically, looks like some ruins
Yep.
of some sort of like city that used to be there on the island, and
And
there's.
it's overgrown with like the grasses and
Oh, I never
vines,
thought about that.
and also has a lot of lava.
Yes. a lot
Like
of-
it was also built next to a volcano
Yeah,
or
I guess it's
something.
supposed to be like a Pompeii or something.
Yeah.
Like that. And it looks.
But it's a bit steampunkish.
well, because I think Robotnik is trying
changing
to.
everything.
Yeah, and I think part of what he's trying to do is harness the volcano for some sort of power.
That's more power for
Yeah.
him. Yeah, I could see that.
This level is a huge pain in the ass.
Yes.
This one is
You have to be
so hard.
slow.
Yeah. One of my critiques about this game in general, the first Sonic the Hedgehog, and we were saying it when we were playing it, it is supposed to be a game where you're supposed to go super fast.
Yeah.
And yet, this level in particular, which we didn't get very far in this game because it's hard for us because we just don't have the muscle memory for it, it is slow. You have to be so patient.
Yes. You can't be as spazzy as Sonic kind of just is automatically when you move him around.
The acts, in my opinion, are very repetitive.
Oh yeah. No, the first one is very repetitive.
So like if you go to you think about the Marble Zone, you have 3 acts. It feels like in the Marble Zone that you end up doing the same kind of thing over and over again. There's
Right.
like
It feels
little
like you're going through the same hallways
variations.
again.
Yeah. Yes. It feels like a low budget movie. Like you have one location.
You're Scooby-Dooing this, and it just keeps
Yes.
You're being the same
yes.
thing over and over
You're in
again.
the Scooby-Doo hallway.
I'm pretty sure that vase went by it before.
Because I think each act, you start like on top, you end up going into the like underground ruins. There's
Yep.
mechanical bats in there,
You have to stay on top of these cubes on top of the lava.
which is impossible for Rachel.
Shut up. I did it.
Did you?
Yes, I have proof now. Thank you. It might have taken me a bit, but I did it.
And there's like little things. Okay, so that the second act, the lava starts chasing you.
Oh yeah, that
bothered you.
Well, yeah, because it's one of those timed things that it's like you're being chased, and if you don't do everything perfect, then that's it.
And you don't like doing the jumps from like there's swinging.
That
What do you
wasn't
describe
too
those
bad. Shelves? Just swinging on chains, I guess?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else you would describe it.
It's based. That's all right. That's
See, the lava wasn't as bad. Anything with water scares the heck out of me. So we'll get to those.
because of the dramatic music.
The dramatic music, but you're drowning. Like, the dramatic music tells you you're drowning, and I don't know how to fix it.
So there's a lot of patient movement that Sonic has to make in this level.
Yes.
I mean, because you just can't make it, and if you're like already, and make the jump too early, you're dead. Oh, you know what we have to point out? What we haven't pointed out yet is do 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 do. So there's like 3 different things that you can get. So there's coins.
Yes.
There is a shield. There's this blue shield
Wong.
that comes up so that because if you get hit once without any rings, you die.
Right.
If you get hit with rings, the rings go flying everywhere.
But you can still get rings
But
back.
you can get
and
rings
you're still
back
alive.
and you're still alive. If you get hit with a shield,
the shield
goes away, but you still keep your rings. So like you want to get the shield, and you at least want to have like a ring on you so that you don't immediately die.
Right.
And then the other thing is this invincibility shield,
Right,
which is
the
like
sparkles.
white sparkly
Sparkle.
star thing
Mhm.
that surrounds you, and then the music changes when you get that too, which only lasts.
And you're invincible then.
But it only lasts for like a short period of time.
Right. So you don't want to waste it.
So like there's a spot, I can't remember what act it is in this zone, in the Marble Zone, where you get it, you basically have to just chug ass. I'm not
Try
chug
that
ass,
again.
haul ass.
Don't-
Chugging ass is a entirely different
That
thing.
sounds real nasty.
So-
Anyways.
We wanted to figure out what the proper way, or like what the experts would say would play as, because us playing, who never played the game as kids, and we're just like, okay, we know the functions of Sonic, we know how to play it, but we don't really know like what's coming up, so we were just playing the game.
Right. So
As-
think speedrunners. This is we're watching a speedrunner.
Well, I watched a couple. Yeah, we watched.
Not one that would glitch the game, but
No.
one that finds the best route.
We watched a playthrough on YouTube or 2, and there are routes that I was like, wait, what? How did they do that? So like there are secret. I like that about the game though. There
yeah.
are secret routes that you can go.
No, that's really cool.
And I think that that's a good way to have the game as opposed to like now where they'd be like, well, you can pay $20 to have the quicker route or something stupid.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
one thing to point out about Marble Zone,
Yes.
all of the animals that you're saving are squirrels and what
Seals.
appear to be Casper ghosts.
They're seals. If they were
No,
Casper
that's
ghosts,
your opinion.
ghost seals. Casper is just a seal himself.
No, I mean, obviously, I think you're right. There are apparently things called badniks. That's what Robotnik is turning them into.
Okay.
Badniks.
Beatniks?
No, not a beatnik. Let's not denigrate the beatnik community.
Do beatniks still exist? I thought that was just like a whole movement back then.
How are all of these animals in? Okay, at the end of this, I'm gonna have to talk about what some of the notes here on
I'm
this wiki
excited.
because there's
Okay.
weird stuff on here. All right, so the boss level for Robotnik in the Marble Zone is he's in his little ship. His ship is basically an egg. That could be another like egg thing. It's like half an egg. It's like if you cracked an egg and you like held the bottom half of it. He's just in the opening. Like
His
if you
egg
wanted
flyer.
if you wanted to do a little arts and crafts at home, you can make a Dr. Robotnik out of an egg. And all he does is drop fire on you, and you
Yes.
have to jump from one platform to the other
Right.
to get
away from it.
and bump him when he's traveling from one side to the other. That one's not bad. For this level being as annoying as it is, the boss battle is not bad.
Right.
I always find the second boss battle to be difficult for some reason. The next zone, it's a city-like environment called Spring Yard. So I guess this is like the metropolis.
This feels like a steampunk area. All of it feels steampunk, but I can't tell if what you're saying, where it's like what Dr. Robotnik is changing
Did he
it,
do
or was
something,
there
or
actually
was
a
this actually
metropolis?
here? Yeah. I don't know because Sonic never interacts with anything other than wildlife.
Right.
So it's hard to tell. Like,
Or
yeah,
was this here and then the animals and nature just took over it?
I mean, you could still have because the background of it there's a city.
There is a city.
So even if this is like a Robotnik took over
Made.
this
Mhm.
building or whatever you're in,
Right.
the trick with this one is there's like a lot of what do you call those maces?
Yeah.
There's
I
like
don't-
giant maces.
They look like the ocean bombs, like the shark
yeah,
mines
I
or
know
whatever
what
they're
you're talking
called.
about. Yeah.
That are all spiky and round. And then there's the ones on chains that like are whipping around that I would like think of more as a mace because they're a little smaller.
Yes.
What I hate about this one is there's these weird lines in the sky that you can't jump on.
Oh yeah.
And I still don't
I
understand
forgot what you're talking about.
why they're there. I don't understand why they're there.
So that you think that you can jump on them. It's
Is it truly
I
just
don't
a
know.
fake out?
No,
Because
I don't
that's annoying if that's truly why they put them there.
I want to say it is.
Because I want them to hold a purpose, and they hold no purpose.
They hold no purpose. They're just there. They're there to make it look more because the animators and the designers were like, because it's a city, duh. So like you gotta make like neon lights.
So odd. It's definitely like a factory or something.
It's yeah. I can't quite tell like what kind of a environment it is, but it is some sort of something.
It's something.
Oh,
That's
it's
right.
something, all right. Oh, you need to have at least 50 rings at the end of the first or second act to be able to get to the special stage.
Okay, so
And you have to, and then you
everybody,
jump
if
through the
if you're
giant
trying
ring.
to do this, make sure you have 50 rings at the end and you jump through the giant ring.
Yeah.
This is Sonic 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's different in Sonic 2. We'll get to that.
Yes. Yeah, it is different.
Wait,
It
it
is
is called the
weird.
Sparring Yard.
What?
Spring Yard.
Spring Yard.
I thought it said Sparring
You
Yard.
I said Spring Yard.
Spring Yard. I still don't get it. Just spring just because of like actual mechanical springs? Because it's not pretty and flowery and spring-like. It's
It's like I guess it's supposed to
mechanical
be
spring. Like boing. I feel like there should be like a bunch of springs on this level, then there's not.
well, you can see like there's shrubbery and stuff
True.
too. And then there's mountains as well, which I don't really know what.
So is it like a spring as in like a water spring? Maybe he built this giant factory over the spring and It's polluting everything. Is
Do
this
you-
all
do you want
about
me
the
to-
environment?
Do you want me to tell you what the wiki says about the
Yes,
spring
please do.
Okay. It was one of the many regions of South Island affected by Robotnik. The doctor kidnapped the local animals and used some of them to power his badniks, while leaving the rest of them in huge capsules. When Sonic the Hedgehog arrived, he saved the animals. That describes every single zone. That's a copy paste for
literally
every
the
level.
zone.
Do better, guy that's doing the Sonic Wiki fandom page.
Accordions.
I don't remember. Yeah,
Well,
we're not good at this game, though. This particular game.
but yeah, I mean, no, that is the best way to describe all of them. With this one, it feels like, yeah, he either built this factory, this is like where he makes the badniks.
It's such a strange
saying
term.
it. It's weird to say.
Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue, badnik. Because, like, I get it that it's Robotnik, so it's a Robotnik
Badniks.
is
'cause they're
his
bad.
robot is a badnik, because he's one of those villains that knows he's evil, so he
So you're
calls
like,
it out.
It's bad, it's evil.
I guess this is mostly just like springs and stuff like that.
Sure.
So the boss battle in this one, I found.
Cope? Sorry, wait, what?
Yeah, the lights in the background are either just lines or they say words like open and cope and stuff. I don't know what the significance is.
Okay, anyways.
If you can tell me what that could possibly have to do with, maybe it's like people are protesting Robotnik with random words.
Well, you'd think it'd say hope, not cope, but okay.
No, it's a Japanese translation. You know, it doesn't always fit.
True.
I find this particular boss level somewhat difficult. I don't know if you found it as hard. So Robotnik he's in his same egg, and this time he's deciding to defeat you. You're on like a bridge thing.
Yeah, that's made of blocks, just blocks.
And he comes down with a spike.
Think like Tetris blocks.
And he pulls one of the blocks up one at a time. And he does it, he tries to do it where you're standing.
Right.
And
so,
if you can hit him.
Yes, but you gotta hit him in the right spot or you're gonna easily hit that spike that's coming out.
And the faster you do, the better, because otherwise he's going to start. He takes enough of them out that you can't make the jump because Sonic isn't at full power yet in this first game. So you just kind of hit him as he's taking the spikes out. But I remember I found it pretty difficult.
Sure.
But you hit him enough times before he actually does it, and you can move on.
Yep.
So once you get past that, you end up in the labyrinth zone, which I think is probably Rachel's favorite because there is the dreaded water.
I hate you.
Should we? Do
Well,
you want to
this is an
describe what
interesting
happens to you
zone.
in water?
This, for some reason, reminds me of Atlantis, for one. Okay, because there's water, everything looks like there's like these etchings and there's crystals everywhere and it's overgrown.
Yeah,
with
it's
vines and
definitely like a
stuff.
ruin.
Yeah,
that's
it
been
feels
flooded.
like Atlantis to me. But yeah, you have to go into this water and you know what? Hedgehogs can't swim. So you're just running along the bottom
Hedgehogs
of...
can't swim. They can't.
They can't. So you're just running along the bottom.
I don't know. Now you're making me Google if can hedgehogs swim.
They can't.
Are you sure about that? I'm looking it up.
I know you are.
They're great swimmers. That's the first thing
I
that
didn't think
Google
they
says.
could swim.
This is from BBC Earth, our prickly little friends.
I didn't think they could. Oh wait, maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Fans
again.
of Sonic
God
the
damn it.
Hedgehog may have been led to believe that Sonic and all other hedgehogs
No, they
can't
can't.
swim. But it turns out that real-life hedgehogs are strong paddlers in natural bodies of water.
Okay, so let me start over.
Okay.
Okay. Hedgehogs in Sonic can't swim.
No, we're leaving all this in because I want to put this is Sonic is fake news, disinformation, and maybe what happened is that Sonic's anthropomorphicness and the fact that he wears sneakers makes his ability to swim somewhat difficult. Or it's a video game.
Well, it's both. So, no, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, in the game, the hedgehogs cannot swim.
Nor can the fox in the sequel.
That's also true. So you have to run across the bottom, and it's
Oh, okay. You're saying he literally can't swim
he
because he has to
literally
run
can't
across the
swim.
bottom.
He has to run
Got it.
across the bottom and hop onto different platforms. He can't just go, let me swim
Yes,
my way out
that's
of
true.
this. So you have to, and then
And
there's,
you go slow.
oh my
in
god,
the
it
water.
slows you down so much. But now with this being underwater bit, you have to either find air places where you can like jump out of the water, or you have these bubbles, okay?
There's little
These
air
oxygen
pockets.
bubbles
Yeah, there's little air pockets on the bottom.
that you have to like stand and wait for a big bubble to pop up so that you can, breathe from.
Yeah, so a lot of this zone takes place underwater. Oh, one of the best parts of it is there's this slide. So like I think it's the third act. You start off going down this slide,
Oh yeah.
and if you don't hop off at the right time, it just
Keeps going. It keeps going.
It took us an unhealthy amount of time to figure out
I
that
mean,
you
we
had
say
to do
back and
something.
forth. We're like, is anything gonna change? No. No, it does not. Well, that looks like somewhere you could jump off at. We finally jump off, and then you can keep going.
There's also a lot of switches in this one, which some zones have and some zones don't. But
Right.
there's like you have to
Bit more
open,
puzzly.
yeah, you have to open the switch to be able to like open a door or a hatch or something to be able to go one to the other, which we found out. Again, it took us
But now they're
too
hidden.
long.
Sometimes they're hidden, sometimes they're not.
Yeah, like the one is under the
The coin. It's a
Yeah.
coin box, like
Yeah.
a TV. Why do they look like TVs, by the way?
because Robotnik is you know,
He's technology.
yeah, he's a sycophant. He's gonna have he wants technology. Well, maybe he's planning to use them for himself.
Oh, possibly.
Like again, like that comic book, the other hedgehogs made the ring for Sonic, but I don't know. There's this little, like, what would you call this? Like,
The blobs that he makes, these balls of something.
and they throw spikes at you.
Yeah, they're okay. So I think it's coming up in another level because I don't know if it was in the past level, but there's the brown one that throws spikes, and there's the red one that throws lava balls, like fireballs. I don't know if there's more of them, but like these are the weird ones to me because they don't look like they're robots. They look like they're alien creatures.
They don't look like anything.
They're
Because
just
like everything else has either some sort of function, like they're like drilly, they look like driller moles, or they look like bees or spiders or
sure,
whatever.
crabs.
These just are little balls. I never thought about the fact that they look like TVs either. I mean, they do.
Yeah,
I
they're
never
TV,
thought.
they're like computer
I
screens or
never
something.
questioned it.
Yeah.
Like, it just is what it is. And those are, and then there's like the piranhas, like
Oh, I like the piranha
those
ones
in
that,
the water.
that swim.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
I will have to like.
But see, like then there's all these like pictures that are everywhere that kind of look like they might be like Leviathan creatures. So that's why it makes me think that this is like an Atlantis area.
Sure. What's a Leviathan?
Leviathans are like big mythical water creatures, like big,
Like a megalodon.
like a megalodon, I guess could be a Leviathan.
Megalodon.
It's not just the internet.
Well,
These are mythical creatures,
I
Kevin.
gotcha.
Like think the Kraken would be,
Yeah.
I think, considered a Leviathan.
I think you're right.
So they're just gigantic mythical creatures that are in the water. And like the ocean is terrifying anyway, so then having like these giant, scary-looking creatures coming at you is
Coming at you.
I would think that this is something that a lot of fishermen and pirates and stuff were afraid of because of the ocean and how vast it is. But that's a Leviathan, okay?
Oh, look at that big mouth.
Yep.
So,
If we ever get to Subnautica, that's kind of like the whole shtick in there is that you have to.
What is that?
Subnautica?
Yeah.
It's another game, but it's newer, and you're in the water of the oceans of this alien planet.
I see. Okay. A couple of notes about the Labyrinth Zone. It was originally intended to be the second level, or second zone.
Interesting.
But the game designers thought it was too hard. So they wanted it to be further in.
Yeah, I could see that. Because of the water.
Goggles. He was going to have to put
my
goggles
God.
on so that you could see underwater.
Okay, that would be kind of cute if he had goggles on.
That never really
Because like
came to
Tails, does
fruition.
Tails ever put like goggles on when he goes flying?
I feel like he might.
Because he's a pilot.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he might.
So maybe that's where they're like, you know
he's
what?
a pilot. You just said that. You just said because he's a pilot about the
Tails, who is a fox that has two tails.
We'll get to.
Is he mutated?
No,
we gotta know more about this. Okay.
This one's a little bit weird because Robotnik finds you, and instead of
staying in one place
trying to
fighting.
attack you, he just runs away.
Yes.
I think in an attempt to drown you.
Oh, do you think that's what he did? Did he, like, break the dam and say, okay, we're gonna drown the hedgehog, and I'm going to lead him to his death?
Yeah, I think, well, because you never fight him. You
can hit him.
You can hit him.
You've been able to hit him, but then once you get to the top, he just flies away. There isn't, like, an actual fight. It's just you trying not to drown.
Can we talk about the boss music at this point?
Yes.
I'm used to Sonic the Hedgehog 2 music. The music in this game, not as good.
Can I listen?
Go. Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's not as good as what we'll get to with the Sonic 2 music.
Sure. I think
that's my general review of this game. It's not as good as what we get with Sonic 2.
It gets better, but I think I still enjoy the music and I still like how it sounds. And a lot of like the main sounds, like the running and getting the speed boost and all of that, is either the exact same or very similar in the later games. But yeah, the boss music does change, and I think it's because it's kind of slow in the first game.
The music.
Yeah. I think the pacing of the music
is slow.
Speeds up later on, and it is slower in the first game.
Interesting. I think that's probably right. But yeah, there's like there's gargoyles that shoot stuff at you, and there's spikes flying at you and stuff, and you have to kind of climb up the top.
While the water is rising.
Yeah, and as you get to the top, then eventually Robotnik kind of flies away, and you end up winning that level, moving on to the next zone, which is Starlight Zone.
Are we, like, in space? Do we, like, all of a sudden, like, go to the moon or, like, some space station?
I wrote down the same thing. I thought it was space. And then later on in the zone, I wrote down, oh, it's just nighttime and you're in a construction site.
Oh, you're on a skyscraper.
And you can see that because there's like some like construction
no, that makes sense.
Equipment things that kind of
like the blockades and stuff.
Yeah, so you're in whatever city is on this island because it does look like space right away, and there's this little Marvin the Martian looking creature.
Yes. Why is he making little alien like ball creatures? What is his fascination with spheres? He has a fascination with spheres because he himself is a sphere.
Yes, he has a round fetish.
Yes. Don't shame him.
Some people should be shamed. I mean,
Dr. Robotnik is an evil man, so maybe.
I don't know how evil he is. We don't really know what he's going to do once he dominates the world.
He's changing all of the animals into robots.
Yeah, it's
and changing all of, like, everything into metal.
It's not good. It's definitely not good. This is one of the faster levels.
Yeah.
You get to go downhill a lot more, and there's, like, drops and stuff and loops and things like that. So this one has a lot more of, like, the ability to go fast.
Just
and
fly
a lot,
through it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of and like just lots of loops and things like that do allow you to kind of see more of Sonic speed than like the Marble Zone let you.
Okay, he makes those ones commit suicide. I don't know about that. I think the guy's pretty evil at this point. I'm just saying. The little Marvin the Martians are little bombs, like the little bombs. If you want to compare them to something in Mario.
Yeah, I think it's probably right. It might be like what they were kind of going for. Because, I mean, this is supposed to be the Sega version of Mario.
Right.
Oh, and then there's the seesaws.
Oh, yeah.
Like, talk about having to have, like, the control. Like, so much of this game is the ability to control your...
A spastic character.
Exactly. Just take it! So then there's also, like, fireballs, things like that in the level. Some trivia about this one. This is the last one to feature the giant rings. This is your last chance to get the emerald if you haven't gotten the Chaos Emeralds yet.
Interesting. Okay.
So what happens to you at the end of this zone with the boss battle, because again, you're basically moving just through a construction site, is there's 3 seesaws. I like this boss battle. I think
This
it's
one seems tricky.
this one I don't know if we got to this one yet.
Not in our current playthrough.
No. He's basically dropping bombs.
And you catapult.
You have to catapult them via seesaw up to hit him while avoiding them yourself. I like it. I like the design of it.
It's
Yeah.
a bit more tactical.
Yeah, because he drops the spike bombs down. You have to shoot them back at him using the seesaws. I like it. I don't know. It's like using the environment against him.
Right, exactly.
And once you defeat him in this one, you get to the next level, which is called Scrap Brain, which is
like
a
lab.
factory.
It's a lab.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes more sense with the name.
It looks more like futuristic, and I would call it a lab because of the brain part of it.
Okay, I'll allow it.
I mean, it kind of looks like a circuit board at some points too, but I think it's more of a lab.
Dr. Robotnik's center of operations. So yeah, you've made it to Robotnik's lair at this point.
Yeah.
It's a polluted industrialized factory. There's gray metal all over everything. There's blinking lights and stuff.
Flames coming out of pipes.
Yeah, chimneys and gray smoke and stuff like that.
It's a bit trickier because stuff kind of falls away faster. You have to be
on your
toes.
There's a little bit of story behind this one.
Oh, I like it. Okay. Tell me about the weird pig purple creatures that have bane mouths.
Dr. Robotnik built Scrap Brain Zone on South Island as his personal base.
Okay.
That's all it says.
You're kidding me, right?
Well, it says a bunch of other stuff, but like all of it, the rest of it is just Sonic found Robotnik evading traps. So like there's kind of some traps set up for Sonic on this, but basically what happens is the first act you're outside, and you're trying to find a way inside.
Right.
And then the second act, you're inside.
That makes sense.
Of the base. And then there's like more like stuff.
So this one kind of flows a bit more. It's changing.
Yes.
The other ones that felt very samey over and over again. Mm-hmm. This one actually has kind of more movement to it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
And then there's like different colors. So you get more green metal instead of the gray, and then there's like purple and red. So the colors, it's a little more colorful as you kind of go through this one too.
Sure.
And there's conveyor belts, and there's saws.
And there's electrocution, like balls and stuff too. Yeah.
It's a good thing that like Sonic wasn't around in like the age where you had to have like a really realistic, violent video game, because most of the
Right? Like, if he got hit by that saw, there better be blood splatter at this point, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I'm not saying there better be. I'm just saying.
But you're telling me that there's no story behind the purple pig creatures that have bane mouths and throw bombs at you.
All right, I don't know. You're putting me on the spot here. Purple.
It's just some weird Robotnik thing, but I just can't get over it. It's kind of like he had psychotic madhouse bears that he put the Hannibal Lecter mouth thing on.
Maybe it was an attempt to make a mechanical teddy bear gone wrong.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
And
so it's a cannibal teddy bear.
Yeah.
A mechanical cannibal teddy bear. It's what I would call it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, say that again.
A mechanical cannibal teddy bear.
Okay, mechanical cannibal teddy bear.
Yeah, say that 3 times fast.
Another great name for a heavy metal. Mechanical cannibal would be fine, but mechanical cannibal teddy bear, we're selling.
No, that's perfect.
At the end of this one, when you get to the third act of this zone, it's very short. I just assume that you're in that. It's the same as the end of Phantom Menace. You're in that giant energy thing. It's the same thing.
Oh my god, it is! It's the same thing. They Phantom Menaced this.
Yes, I actually think what happened is Robotnik was the contract developer for.
Oh my god.
What the hell's the name of that planet? Naboo. So Robotnik, I think, built them their energy.
Those weird energy field hallways.
Yeah. And because
that you have to like slowly walk through.
Yeah. Which, again, I could see the government of Naboo. It was kind of incompetent. I could see them hiring Robotnik to build it. I mean, he's obviously very skilled. He's a genius.
Obviously, yeah.
It's a government contract, so of course Robotnik's going to put it in. Maybe he thought there was a Chaos Emerald on Naboo. It's possible.
Oh, that's true.
Jar Jar Binks is running around with the Chaos Emerald.
Are they the ones that have to, like...
Jar Jar Binks kind of looks like what Mr. Needlemouse was. A little bit. The big floppy ears.
Interesting. Is there a connection? We're gonna have to do some research here.
You know, my kids are playing a game called Sonic the Hedgehog, and I just thought, you know, that looks a lot like my idea for Star Wars. We could do a crossover. It is. There's like this shield barrier there.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is, did you say, like, the Act 2 ends, but it doesn't go to a black screen?
Yeah,
you literally just keep going.
Yeah. And it comes back with
that
you get the full look of Robotnik now.
With his little teeny legs, he kind of looks like Mickey Mouse, but man, he's got the Mickey Mouse pants.
Yeah, he does kind of have Mickey Mouse pants. Instead of like fighting Robotnik, he presses down on like a button.
Robotnik presses down on a button.
Yes. And the floor underneath you collapses and you fall down a pit.
And then Zone 3 starts.
Yes. Yeah. He basically.
I find that so interesting.
So he's got his base, but like underneath the base must have been like this ancient ruins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he throws you down into the ancient ruins, which is like again partially flooded.
Like, haha, you're gonna die down here. I'll trap you in.
You're gonna die now. And your objective is Sonic. Again, it looks a lot like Labyrinth, except it's differently colored.
Yeah.
Which was, I think that was kind of a trope of video games back then too, like where there's no gauntlet level on this because Robotnik is the boss every time, but like it looks a little kind of like a gauntlet level where it's like you have to do something you did earlier in the game, but all you're really doing is you're just trying to get out, and you just kind of climb yourself out of.
Yeah, it's kind of like he dropped you into a pit. Now you have to find your way out because there's all these little catacombs. And now you go back to fight him in the final zone.
Yeah.
Which actually brings you out on the other side of that little force field hallway.
Yes. Which I don't understand how that works. But I guess you end up on it. So this is a little bizarre. So there's like...
I love this. I already love this.
You're in this area. There's compressors. And
how the hell is he getting
for some reason, Robotnik is in one of the compressors. Is it like a? Here's the only thing I can think it is. Okay, so there's like this beam of energy that like shoots out to stop you from jumping up too high to get away.
Energy balls.
Yeah. And then there's compressors, and then there's energy balls that like shoot out at you. And then in one of these things, Robotnik is just sitting in it.
But he moves to different ones.
No, he's only in the one at the bottom right, isn't he?
No,
he is.
He starts at the top one, and then he moves to different ones.
Okay, so he really is Scooby-Dooing his way around these
Yes,
things.
he is.
I did not realize that.
I don't understand.
I've never gotten to this.
He's either at the top or he's at the bottom, and I don't understand how he's getting in. See? And then he moves again.
The challenging part, I would think, too, is you have no rings. So if you slip up once, you're dead.
Oh, because there weren't any rings at the bottom area either. Ooh, okay. Interesting.
The only thing I can possibly wrap my head...
That is extremely frustrating. Could you imagine?
Yeah, it would be awful. But, I mean, it's the last level of the game. And again, no saves. So can you imagine getting to this level and not making it through, and just wasting hours because you couldn't have gotten through.
Take a walk for a minute.
throw the controller.
Sit on the curb for a minute.
Is this like an escape pod that he's in? Because why in God's name is he in this compressor thing? Eventually, what happens if you're able to do it, which we never have.
Which my assumption is that you just have to hit the one that he's in, by the way. So you have to find the one he's in, hit that one.
I assume you shouldn't hit the one he's not in.
Right.
The YouTube people make it look way easier than
Oh my god, they make it so easy.
Eventually, the machine breaks. Comes out of the tube.
Naruto runs himself over to his...
Robotnik does.
No, if you
don't... Is that a Naruto run?
Yeah, so if you need to understand what a Naruto run is if you put your arms out behind you, okay, you don't swing your arms, and then you just run like you're like that's Naruto running, because in Naruto they don't swing their arms when they're running. So that's
like Raquel Welch.
That's legitimately a thing, and that is what people call it.
I'm learning so much. Oh, look at that.
So that is why they call it Naruto running.
Okay. Yeah,
Naruto runs away.
I guess he's doing it for,
Which now I think Naruto came out like
I don't know.
it had to have come out way after this. I don't remember the year, but
What I find interesting about this, though, is he hops into a chicken-shaped escape pod. It's the same thing that you've been fighting against him in all game, and he just gets away.
yep.
He zooms up, Sonic looks up at him,
It just lets him fly
he
away.
just flies away. Well, I mean, I guess 'cause Sonic's intention is just to get rid of
Oh, like to get off this
Yeah.
island type of thing.
And then the game ends. The big celebration is all the little creatures are surrounding Sonic. He gives a thumbs up. If you got the Chaos Emeralds,
He releases the
he
emeralds.
releases the emeralds. They disappear, and he looks puzzled.
Well, and it also grows plants on the island again. So I think what it's doing too is it's like
I see.
it's like giving
I didn't
life back
realize
to
that.
the island.
Yeah.
And then they kind of go off into the sunset, I guess. I don't know. Like they kind of go off and do their own thing sentiently and just go on to another island
Well, and he
to hide themselves.
He basically salutes the player. He's like, "Yeah, you're the best guy. You made it through this game. It's got to be a hard game. I've never won it, although we never really played this one."
No, this isn't one that we actually ever truly played until we got the emulator, if you'll call it that, because it's for a different game.
Now, there was a cheat code to get 2 different levels, apparently.
Oh, there's always cheat codes to get to different levels. It's Sega Genesis.
Yeah, well, there had to be. I mean, that's part of the...
You do like the A-B thing for Aladdin, you can get to new levels too. So, I mean, come on.
I have to find where this really is, because if you don't get the Chaos Emeralds throughout the game, the same thing happens where you like are celebrating with the little creatures,
Yeah.
but instead Robotnik either has the Chaos Emeralds or he's like looking for them still or something like that. Like there's like a slightly different ending. Either way, it's kind of a cliffhanger. So it has the same ending, but then it says try again, and it's got Robotnik juggling
With
the
emeralds. So it's like he won.
I guess.
No, it's he got the emeralds. He got away. You may
Yeah.
have saved the island, but he got away with the emeralds.
With the emeralds, yeah. But it does kind of end on a cliffhanger, which I guess is kind of where Sonic 2... So anyway, that is the end of Sonic 1. Rachel, thoughts about the first Sonic game?
It's iconic. That's really it. It's an icon. It's my childhood. Well, Sonic 2 is my childhood, but I think it's pretty. It's fun and it's extraordinarily challenging.
Yes, for us. I'm sure there's some 8-year-old kid out there that could beat this in 20 minutes and go, this is for babies.
Which is also whatever. I don't care.
Which is probably true.
I
But
don't know. I think kids would have trouble with
I think
it.
the pattern isn't as intuitive on some of the old games.
Right.
Like the Turtles games where we went back and played them and we were like, oh, these are really easy.
Right.
Like I still think Sonic is kind of challenging.
Yes.
No, I agree with you on that. But this isn't the real meat of what we want to talk about. This is just the first game. This is what put Sonic on the map. But they went back and they decided, we're going to make this bigger and better. And that's where Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came along. And when we come back, we'll go through Sonic the Hedgehog. We'll go through Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
This is JD Dapper reporting. From the start, gusty winds were a big concern for parade organizers, as it turned out, for good reason. Just before 10:30, a first-time balloon, the 64-foot tall Sonic the Hedgehog, was swept into a street lamp at 58th and Broadway and punctured. As the balloon began deflating, it pulled the lamp off the pole, dropping it to the ground where the falling metal injured a man and a little girl.
He smashes into the lamppost, broke the lamppost, and the large part of the lamp came down and looked like it smacked this fella in the back.
Fell right into the crowd.
Yep.
The man was taken to Roosevelt Hospital with a shoulder injury and has been listed in satisfactory condition. The little girl was treated at the scene. Earlier, as the balloon made its debut to the crowds of adoring video game fans, the balloon captain said the wind was causing problems.
So it's a little more difficult than usual.
And we're back on Shelf Life here, going...
Sorry.
Starting off with the Sonic theme.
Yeah, exactly.
So 1991 occurs. They have Sonic the Hedgehog come out for the Sega Genesis. It's a big hit, and it solidifies Sonic as the icon that Sega is looking for. And they kind of know right away that if they're going to fully make him their version of Mario, they need to come out with a sequel. The main developers start to determine what the game is going to be. The first thing, I got a lot of this information off of different YouTubers again. Like, there's a lot of good YouTubers doing, because, I mean, I drag on YouTube all the time, but there's some interesting, like, little documentaries and stuff about the making of Sonic and, like, different Sonic the Hedgehog stuff out there. I'm sure that, it's probably not as famous as Jake Paul farts on a cake or whatever.
Why would you even bring that up? Can you just stay on the good side of YouTube? He probably does. He probably does, because garbage.
Who's another garbage YouTuber? What's that?
You want garbage YouTubers? I couldn't tell you, because that's like not something I'm into.
Who's that family that scammed?
The family tubers who like to exploit their children for money.
Or even somebody that seems wholesome but gets 40 million views, and it's like, why are you 6-year-olds watching this? Like the Dar Man videos or something like that? I don't know.
The Dar Man? What is that?
There are these horrible videos where it'll be like, rich kid bullies poor kid at school and immediately regrets it. And then it's like a 20-minute poorly acted video.
Oh, those fake ones? So that
they're acted, and then it's always like, oh, they got what was coming to them, and it's like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
But
okay, yeah, I don't know.
So anyway, a lot of the information that I was able to drudge up is either like from articles or some history stuff, but watching a lot of these documentaries, and then of course there's like other documentaries and stuff that are on Netflix or different streaming sites too that allow us to gather this information. But just to give them some backhand credit there a little bit. The three main developers for the main Sonic game, for Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one, kind of split off. They all went their separate ways a little bit. They decided, well, we got to get these guys back together to kind of help make this game. So you've got Yasushi Yamaguchi, who was doing the character design, that kind of stuff. Hirokazu Yasuhara, who was going to... I can't remember if Yasuhara went to the U.S. or Yamaguchi went to the U.S. One of them went to the U.S. to help in the game design, because there was that new... it was STI. We were talking about how it was called STI.
Right, yes.
Sega Team Interactive, or Sonic. It was basically Sega of America, and they were making the Sonic team in America in an attempt to kind of integrate the American branch of Sega with some of the Japanese minds, thinking that could kind of help pull everything together. And the main programmer of the first Sonic, Yuji Naka, I was trying to figure this out, because in a lot of the research that I did, you end up kind of getting the idea that what he reminded me of, Rachel, was when we were talking about Seinfeld and we were talking about Larry David, and how Larry David was very particular,
right,
and how he wanted everything to work. He didn't like working with executives. He was very, very
picky.
Specific about...
He was picky.
Yes. I feel like, from what I can discern, I don't know him. I have not heard him speak. I am only talking about this through very tertiary sources. He seemed like a Larry David.
Okay.
Because he had quit Sega. He was sick of listening to corporate. He couldn't stand being part of like a big company. So he just left.
Okay.
And Mark Cerny, who was the president of Sega America, I think he was the president, might have been a different role, but regardless, he went on a trip to Japan to talk about making Sonic 2 in Japan with the larger execs. And this guy, of course, was part of that, larger plan of what what Sega was trying to do in the U.S. to take over the market share from Nintendo and yada yada. So while he was over there, he kind of said like, well, where's like Yuji Naka? They said he quit. So he goes to Yuji Naka's apartment in Japan.
Straight to the apartment.
He tries to talk to him into coming back to Sega, and Yuji Naka felt he didn't get paid it well enough. He didn't have enough creative control, like Larry David, right? Or anybody else. I mean, you can talk about a lot of different creators or creative people. I'm sure that they would all have similar thoughts. Mark Cerny tells Naka that you're going to get this stuff, and he decides to come back to do Sonic 2. So they are all deciding what they're going to do to make this game. And there's a couple of things that they want to do. One thing is they want to make it they want a 2-player system.
Okay.
They want to make it multiplayer, because a lot of the platformers, greatest thing of all time, right? They're only one player. Like Mario's one player, the first Sonic is one player. We want to make it 2 players. So they have to figure out how to get the split screen. Basically, that's what they do. They decide to make a split screen where the top half of the screen is Sonic, the bottom half of the split screen is going to be the second player, and you can play that way.
Right.
We never did that a lot because I just think that we didn't enjoy it as much. But
we did it sometimes.
Do you have any thoughts on the multiplayer aspect? Because it ends up in Sonic 2.
In general, or just like with Sonic itself?
With Sonic itself.
Because I miss split screen. I wish they did that a little bit more with new games nowadays. I know that it's not possible, but with Sonic, I liked it.
Yeah, that's true. If they could do that more. Yeah, because even thinking back to like Mario Kart, GoldenEye, like it was split screen.
Yes.
You didn't have to be online to play it. I see what you're saying.
And then Mario Kart is still split screen. It's like the only one that I know of that it still does the split screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with Sonic, you and I, we'd mostly play it where one person was playing. The 2-player aspect was interesting. It was kind of like you were racing each other. I think it was basically. You could go different ways, or you could go the same direction, but then you're not going to get the rings. All of that stuff would happen.
Well, because you were graded on time and how many rings you could collect.
Right.
I think, and it was like a versus, yeah.
Yeah, so it was more of a versus when you had it split screened than having it as a combo player. Now, the fun thing though too with Sonic and Sonic 2 is that you could still play 2-player kind of in 1-player mode.
Yes.
So
and I think
with just the one screen, because the second player does show up on the screen and kind of does its own thing while the 1-player person is actually going on, but you can still control that player with the second controller.
I think that leads us into the second player.
Who is this second player?
Yes, this new character. The idea behind having it be that way, what you're saying, where a person can pick up the second controller and control Tails.
Yes.
They can help you or assist you or try to collect coins or whatever. The idea behind that was the younger sibling can pick up a controller, can feel like they're being part of the game.
More collaborative.
They can learn the game. Yeah, but they can't directly screw over the older sibling playing as Sonic because no matter what they do, they can't cause harm. So they can only help for the most part. We'll get into that later. That was the idea. So they have to come up with the character, and I mean, go ahead, Rachel. Who do they come up with? What's the guy?
Well, you named him Tails.
I did.
Miles Tails. It was still Miles.
Miles Tails. Miles Prower.
Miles Prower. Yep. Get it?
And there's a big thing about that name.
Get it? Do you hear it? Did you hear it when he said Miles Prower? I also think it's kind of funny because it's the second Sonic the Hedgehog game, and this Fox character has 2 tails. So it's Sonic 2. His friend Tails has 2 tails. I feel like they did that on purpose.
I don't know. Okay, so Yamaguchi, who designed Sonic, designed Tails. The same idea. They were just, hey, everybody, let's try to come up with a sidekick or a new character for Sonic. He came up with Tails, and everyone thought it was good. And he was cuter than Sonic.
Yes.
Like, he looks more He looks more Jolly G. Willikers
It's
than Sonic, right?
I mean, when you say Jolly G. Willikers, are you talking Robin or are you talking Radioactive Boy?
I think he. Okay, I have
yeah, Robin.
T-shirt.
Yeah, that's it.
I have a T-shirt where Sonic and Tails are dressed like Batman and Robin.
Right. Yes.
I really wanted it in like a poster form or something too. But yes, he is Sonic's Robin in a way. I've read over like his backstory and stuff to try to figure out how in the hell does this fox end up as Sonic's
sidekick
buddy? Sonic is his mentor.
Right. Yeah, it's more like a mentor. Yeah.
So a couple of things on him. Yamaguchi really wanted his name to be Miles Prower. The Sega Team America was like, so...
I mean, it is kind of like a silly name.
We mentioned her in the first part, but Madeline Schroeder and some of the marketing people were like, we kind of like Tails because he has the two tails. And I read somewhere or heard somewhere that, and I had known nothing about Japanese legend to be able to authenticate this, but apparently it's something where there's like a two-tailed fox in some sort of Japanese legend or something like that. So that's what it's kind of based off, very loosely based off of. But that's Tails. And his whole backstory is supposed to be that he's a young fox, a pup, if you will, and he gets bullied for having the two tails, stuff like that. And one day he just sees Sonic running around. He kind of follows him. He tries to keep up with him, and he decides that like that's the guy. I'm gonna try to be like that
him.
guy.
Yeah.
And so like after following around for a bit, and I imagine
wearing him down.
We're recording, no. But you kind of imagine that it is a lot like stop following me, and then like eventually he just kind of accepts it, and then they become friends.
I have a feeling in the movie Tails saves Sonic in some way that makes Sonic go, oh yeah, you're fine, you're cool, I like you because you just saved my life, you know.
A Jar Jar Binks life debt.
I would not compare Jar Jar to Tails because Tails is way further up there than Jar Jar.
Tails can be an annoying little shit
always
at many times in this game. Yes, I like Tails.
I love Tails.
I like
He's
Tails just
adorable.
fine.
I liked playing as Tails when we were younger.
Well, that's because you were the younger sibling. Pick up the second controller. Don't do anything stupid. Just hit Robotnik when you get the chance. Collect some coins.
Yeah, that was always the best part is the boss battles being Tails. Because that would help.
Yeah.
I felt like I was actually
all you
helping.
could do is help. Yeah, and actually...
Well, like, the funnier part is, even if I fell off and hit the lava, even if I died, I just,
doesn't matter.
Helicoptered back in. And that's literally what happens with Tails.
Right.
He uses his tails to helicopter back in.
Exactly. And that's a fun look, too, to have him helicoptering. It's really interesting looking.
It's kind of fun.
I think.
Well, because he's a pilot, too. So it's like he knows how to
he's
fly
a pilot
himself
too.
with his tails, but he's also a pilot.
And I think that's supposed to be the difference between Sonic's personality and his personality. Like, Sonic is supposed to be this snarky, teenager, angsty, I'm not going to listen to the rules, I'm going to do what I think is right no matter what kind of a thing, and Tails is more, like I said, he's, oh, geez, Sonic... Oh boy. Like he's more shy and timid. He's a timid fox.
Right.
And I think that that's supposed to appeal to the younger kids, and I think it's supposed to complement Sonic.
Right, yeah.
And in part of that is that he's extremely smart and he's extremely good at gadgets.
Yes.
Like he builds the plane and stuff like that.
He's kind of techie. Yes. It works for us then too, doesn't it? You're the snarky one, and I'm the techie one.
I was going to say, am I the snarky, angsty teenager?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know about angsty, but snarky, yes, highly.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. They start building the game. And they don't have as much time to work on it as they'd like because Sega at first thinks that they're going to take some time to build the game, and then they realize that they really need to compete with Mario because I I don't remember if like there was another Mario thing coming out, or Super NES had just came out, so now Nintendo had their own 16-bit. But in any event, they decide we gotta get another game out for the winter for Christmas 1992. So some of the ideas needed to be scrapped, which you see some remnants of some of the ideas in the game,
right,
versus what's actually in the game. The original premise, or one of the original storyboarded ideas, it takes place, I can't remember the name of the island. It's not Angel Island. It's not West Island. It might be West Island. Or is it Emerald Island?
Well, there's Emerald Island. It's Angel Island.
West Side Island. Angel Island is the third one. So it's West Side Island. The idea was that West Side Island is taken over, like Robotnik comes in, he does his thing, he unleashes...
Is that what it originally was called? Because then there's South Island.
South Island was the first game, and then the second game... It's an archipelago, because it's Japan. And so you've got South Island, West Side Island, and the third one takes place on Angel Island. I don't know why they have to
There's also
make it
something
confusing.
called Christmas Island and Angel Island, and...
The idea was that you are on West Side Island, Robotnik comes in because the Chaos Emeralds are buried in this island after the first game. Because remember, they vanish.
Right.
And Sonic kind of just goes island to island, I think, in this like archipelago, because he's fast enough to speed across the water if he wants, I guess, or whatever. And because he can't swim, despite hedgehogs being good
fantastic swimmers. He was just never taught how to swim as a child.
As we learned. I really want to... Is there a video of a hedgehog swimming somewhere on YouTube? Because I just can't imagine that little prickly
they just sound
thing.
adorable. It sounds so cute. Hold on. Oh my god. Yep. They're just floating in the water. This is so cute.
Yep, there he goes.
Look at him swim.
He's in it. He looks kind of like Sonic in the water, though. Oh my god.
They're so cute. He's all
Are they
rolled
that
up.
small?
They're as big as the palm of your hand.
Oh yeah.
Palm of your hand.
He's just floating. He's floating
Yeah,
in
look
it.
at him.
They're curled up in a ball.
It's so cute.
I don't
They're
know
just
if I would
doggy
call them...
paddling.
Yeah, they don't look like excellent swimmers. They look kind of
Well,
like
they have
Sonic.
that hooked nose, so the nose stays up in the air.
Yeah. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so one of the original ideas was that Robotnik comes in, he starts taking over the island, and then because, I guess, using the Chaos Emerald, so Sonic uses that Chaos Emerald to go through time.
Okay.
And each zone was supposed to be...
He used the time stone. Okay.
Basically using the time stone, because they are basically just the Infinity Stones, going through time. So, like, the chemical plant zone is Robotnik made a chemical plant on the island, and then, like, the tree hill, or whatever that is called, that is supposed to be, like, the past, because there's volcanoes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, every zone is a different time.
Okay.
And you're trying to stop Robotnik and, like, chase him through time. So there was supposed to be 17 of these originally, too.
That's a
yeah,
lot.
they designed 17 of them. And a lot of it had to get scrapped because of time constraints.
Sure.
And constraints on the Sega Genesis. Like, it could only do so much.
Right.
Like, they were going balls to the wall with this thing.
Just like, just take half of those and put them onto a new game.
I guess. I really wish, we'll get into it a little more when we go through the walkthrough, because I kind of wish some of that stuff made it into the final version.
Sure.
Or nowadays when they can come out and, like, re-release the game, I wish that they, like, had it so that we could see that we could see all of that stuff, like,
but they never made
realized.
That's the thing. They didn't make it
know.
30 years ago, so...
I know. Well, and some of these documentaries talk about, too, that there was the Japanese people in the team and there were the American people in the team, and all of the Cerny would conduct a lot of the development meetings in Japanese, so there was, like, a language barrier, too, in determining, like, okay, what's getting cut, what's not getting cut, so there was always this kind of, like, up in the airness a little bit,
Okay.
but I think, like, they were able to design it and they worked pretty hard on it, so I think that if any of those folks are around today, maybe they'd want to see somebody with some programming skills make those levels, make those zones.
Sure.
In like an updated, like, unreleased, unauthorized. Folks at home, Get to it. Get to it, Internet.
They gotta be careful about that, though.
Oh no, I'm saying, do it with the blessing of
They'd have
whoever.
to, because they could get in trouble for using those characters.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you're right. But, I mean, I want to see the wood zone. I want to see the sand shower zone. I want to see the ocean wind zone.
All of that sounds really cool. I like it. I kind of wish I saw it, too.
I want to see tropical plant zone,
Ooh, that'd be
rock
nice.
world zone.
Is that just like a jungle, though, isn't it? The rock world? Huh.
I don't know. Just telling you what they said.
I feel like they kind of... It feels like they incorporated little things from those areas, though, in other parts of the game. I have a feeling.
Yeah, I think so.
It feels that
Yeah,
way, because it's like I'm thinking of what they could have used in those zones. I'm like, oh, well, it seems like this zone has stuff like that, and there is like a zone that looks jungly, but it's scary or whatever, It's like...
So they started working on the game, and they were putting it together. And the marketing department decided that they were going to do something to try to make this game even bigger than the first one, because of course you have to. You're trying to make money.
Mhm.
That's what your job is. What they decided to do is do Sonic Tuesday. So they were going to launch Sonic the Hedgehog, which had never been done before this way, where it was a global launch. So the entire world was getting Sonic the Hedgehog at the same time,
Okay.
which, again, had not been done before. Nowadays, I think it's done. I mean, with movies, it's not even necessarily done all the time on the same day.
I know
So,
with video game, like some video games that I play, if they have like an expansion pack coming out at a certain date, it's like midnight for that region on that date.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like the same time, but it's...
But this was the first time it had been done, so a lot of logistics had to go into that. That was their big thing. And then they also used 3D modeling software to create I'm drawing a circle with my hand. I can't think of what those are called. Well, not the loops, but like that. What's that thing on in the first zone where you like on that ribbon, and he like spirals around really fast on that
like a
ribbon?
corkscrew?
Yeah, that's right. A corkscrew.
Like the corkscrew ribbon that doesn't really make any sense as to what it is in nature? Yes.
Yeah,
Is it,
and then
is
of
it
course
a log that's just like shredded to ribbons? I don't know.
Oh yeah, like what the hell is that? Yeah,
Yes.
that makes no sense that it's there. It doesn't make any sense.
I think we came up with some ideas as we were playing the game as to why it's there.
I guess I like your idea that it's a log that's been cut probably by Robotnik.
My guess is Robotnik it was like, oh, I'm gonna make it into like a trap, and it's a cut up log. He'll never get through
guess
this.
so.
I don't know. It's Robotnik's thought process, not mine. Okay.
It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Who gives a bibble?
It's gonna slow him down.
They come out with it on November 24th. They advertise it at their big events. They have a guy walking around in a Sonic outfit at some of these places, and it is a huge hit. And it solidifies not only the Sega Genesis, it solidifies a lot of the technology that they use, which we'll talk about as we go through the walkthrough. And it makes Sonic the Hedgehog an absolute icon in culture.
Yep.
I was going to say in video games, but I mean,
It's just culture.
He's got lunchboxes and toys and plush toys. You say Sonic, you either think about a drive-in fast food restaurant, but my mind goes immediately to a blue hedgehog.
Yep.
Anything else, Rachel, to add to Sonic 2?
No.
That you wanted to talk about before we get into it?
No.
All right,
Let's do it.
let's take a quick break, and we will walk through Sonic the Hedgehog numero 2.
Now, when you buy the Sega Genesis that comes with Sonic 1, you'll get Sonic 2 absolutely free. Sonic 2 handles stubborn stains, embarrassing bald spots, no problem. It even slices and dices, makes thousands of julienne fries. But wait, you can play it too. This free Sonic 2 is a $54.99 value. You get 2 Sonics for the price of 1. Sonic 2 fits easily into any tackle box. Made from a space-age polymer plastic for years of family fun. And pets love it too. Buy the Sega Genesis that comes with Sonic 1 and get Sonic 2 free.
Act now. Wiener Dog Sweater sold separately.
And
we're back?
We're back. I was throwing it to you.
I didn't know what was happening.
I liked that. We have to change it up every once in a while. You got to do kind of a different. Back. You know?
Do you? I guess so.
No, not really.
Yeah.
It's like a Easter egg or a couch gag. You know?
Yes.
You got to do a little something.
Right.
You gotta give the fans a little something different.
Yeah.
So we are walking through Sonic T Hedgehog 2. Nope, I screwed it
What
up
does
again.
T stand for?
The
yes.
Sonic.
I got you.
Yeah.
The
Sonic the Hedgehog 2. We are walking through Sonic the Hedgehog 2, released for Sega Genesis in November of 1992.
All right.
I read the plot synopsis
Oh, okay, I'm excited.
on the Sonic
Tell me
Fans
about
Wiki.
it. We did this for the first one. We
is-
gotta do the second one.
It's so much more complicated than I think the game actually is. It reads like I'm like a fan. What's it called?
Fan fiction?
Yeah, it reads like fan fiction.
Are you sure
Okay?
it's not?
Like they're talking.
You just told me it was from a fan wiki, so.
Well, it's a
as long
pretty
as it's the
advanced wiki.
book.
It could be from the booklet. I don't.
We don't
know.
have it
I
on
don't
us. That's,
have
at,
the
that's
booklet.
at our parents' house.
Yeah, I should have fucking grabbed
You
it.
could
Damn
have.
it.
Wait.
He's there today.
Call him right now. Call him right now. We know where it is.
All right, Mom, I need you to go into a shoebox. It might be in my closet.
You do have them all in a shoebox.
I'm gonna paraphrase this so that I'm not just reading Wikipedia to you, because that's not a good podcast makes. Here's a synopsis of what they've got. And again, I don't know if this is from the manual. I don't know if this is fan fiction. They're kind of saying that Sonic is just chilling on the island. In fact, he's taking a nap so he meets Tails. So they talk about the backstory of him meeting Tails. And he's taking a nap under one of the wings of the Tornado, which is the plane that Tails eventually pilots.
Yes.
Tails is tinkering on it because he likes to tinker on stuff. And as he's tinkering on it, they're like on the beach part of the island. Okay. What? Okay. So I guess maybe I just skipped this part. I did, but I don't remember explosions and stuff happening. So this is directly from this thing.
Okay.
An ominous flash occurs in the direction of the nearby forest, which is then
was just
followed
let
by a
off.
horrible explosion. The wildfire blows away various debris, which Tails avoids by taking
Jesus.
cover underneath the tornado as he witnessed
This is violent.
robots violently excavating the area. So Dr. Robotnik is looking for the Chaos Emeralds. We know this. He's trying to build back the Eggman Empire.
For some reason, this just made me think of Pocahontas, where it's like, dig, boys, dig for the gold.
Oh my god. Well, I don't remember what that guy's name is, but he could be related to Robotnik for sure.
Good. It's all I could
They got the same.
Mine.
All right, new assignment for you all out there. I want the Dig Boys Dig for Gold song remixed for Robotnik trying to find the Chaos Emerald.
I think that would be good, honestly.
Yeah. Sonic the Musical?
I'm sorry, go
I
on.
looked up a little bit. I looked up a little bit
stop,
of
so you can keep going with it. It's fine.
Dr. Robotnik trying to make his Eggman Empire using the Chaos Emeralds, which we know is his attempt to basically take over
World domination.
the world. I don't know if he does this in the early games or if it isn't until the later games, where he establishes a company called Meteor Tech. It's got to be the future games.
Well, it's definitely the movie.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure that's what the company's called.
Oh,
Hold
interesting.
on.
Because it's supposed to be like a weapons manufacturer. And I think he's basically covering it to make the badniks, all of his little robot people.
Maybe I just know that from the game, because right now it just says the company.
But anyway, that is...
Where the echidna comes in. Sorry.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Echidna? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I had
that's
no
what
idea how to
Knuckles is.
pronounce
It's
it.
an echidna.
Is that a real thing?
Yes. It's a real animal.
Can you please... I mean, we're not doing Sonic
They're
3
freaking
today.
adorable. They look just like a hedgehog, but they are echidnas.
Because I thought it was made up.
No.
I thought it was supposed to be like... I thought he was like an alien. I've always thought that he was like an alien. I mean, They run on two legs. One of them punches things, and the other flies a plane.
Yeah, this one. I mean, something's wrong with Tails because he's got two tails. I mean, anyways,
it's just kind of he's mutated.
That's what I think.
He's Japanese. He might be from here. He might be from Nagasaki.
Yeah, too soon.
Too soon?
I don't know. Anyways,
I don't know. They were having problems for a long time.
No, that's true. Sometimes known as spiny anteaters.
Oh, this thing's got to be really weird looking.
They're so cute.
That is a weird looking creature.
It's like a hedgehog crossed with an aardvark, or I'm sorry, an anteater.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because it's got that weird nose.
Right.
But he's got the hedgehog quills.
Yep.
The one that's sitting there with its gut hanging out is interesting.
Oh, the fat ones that are like the babies. This is a baby echidna.
See, no, that one, yeah. That one is.
It looks like a naked mole rat, but it's that's a baby echidna. Knuckles isn't in this one, but yes.
So anywho, they figure out, okay, it's Robotnik because it's robots and stuff, and they're excavating the land, and they decide to go across the way and try to stop Robotnik. And he must work pretty fast because the land is already sort of excavated. There's robots everywhere. There's plants put up. So I guess maybe Sonic and Tails had to figure out like a game plan of how to attack him. This is where using the time emerald would have made some sense, because then he would have it would be the same level basically, but he just keeps getting like stuck in time.
Sure.
Until he gets to Metropolis or whatever that one zone is.
Right.
So anyway, you start the game. You start the game in Emerald Hill Zone, which looks a lot like the Green Hill Zone from the first game.
Yep.
But we can probably right off the bat talk about some of the additional gameplay features and the graphics, because I think those are two of the things that are, in my opinion, upgraded from the first game. Because I think it looks a little sharper.
Well, yeah,
I think
it does
the colors
definitely
are
look
brighter. There's more texture to Sonic and Tails, or something. Like, I don't know exactly how to explain
it. Might be
it.
better in this too.
Yeah, maybe that's a good way to put it. So I think it gives it a richer look than the first game, and a lot of what you heard us say about the first game, where it's faster than Mario, but there are so many levels in which you are basically stopped because you have to wait for things.
Yes.
The gameplay in this doesn't have that nearly as much.
Right.
You can frickin' fly in this game. There are a million different ways you can go depending on how you want to play the game or how you master doing different things. And the ability to the crouch and spin.
Turning into a ball and being able to rev up that speed is the best thing.
That's really awesome. That's a really great feature. The gameplay is essentially the same in all of the different levels or zones, but you do get to do a lot of like the speed, and you roll into the ball a lot, and it's a lot of the looping. The thing that isn't in this as much, because you can do the spin, is trying to get momentum through like the half pipes and stuff. But I like it more because it allows you to have like a variety in how you want to go about the zone.
Sure.
But essentially what the Emerald Hill Zone is exactly the Green Hill Zone.
Yep.
And the way that we play the game, because I mean we have it memorized from when we were kids.
A little bit.
But it's a lot like, again, no saves, no skipping the level. You have to start at zone 1 and work your way through to win the game, which we've never won this game.
Well, properly.
Properly. We did so for you, dear listener. We went through the whole game.
Yes.
But because of that, we knew kind of like the tricks of like, okay, get through this one as quickly as possible.
Right.
But this zone does do a good job of setting up exactly how to play the game and the different ways you can take. And the monkey robots and the bee robots are fun.
I like
to
the
kill
piranhas.
in this one.
The piranhas.
Oh yeah, the piranhas. I almost forgot about the piranhas. Those are good too. And I do feel like this is almost like Sonic's home base, right?
Right.
Like it's this, he lives in this Emerald Hill looking place.
Maybe he made all these fun tracks. Maybe it's his
Oh, you think it's like a training
Yeah,
thing?
maybe he'd made like a training ground where he could just run as fast as he can for fun.
Maybe he's training Tails.
Ooh, maybe he's training Tails. I mean, he is the mentor.
One thing that he is the mentor. I mean, Tails keeps up with him pretty good.
Yes, sometimes.
So, well, yeah. So part of this game is that Tails follows behind you, and there are plenty of times when Tails is going to fall in water and die, or fall into a pit, or get hit, or whatever.
Right.
But most of the time, it doesn't matter. There's only one time that it matters, and I didn't know if we should bring this up now or we should bring it up later. But I mean, we could probably just talk about it now.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the special stages, Rachel? I'm just gonna let you go.
Oh, well, because I felt good. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, it felt real good to get through all of those stages for you guys, okay? Thank God I had the rewind ability and...
Yeah, we didn't, I mean, we would have been there for
quick saves.
Weeks. Yeah, we wouldn't, it wouldn't have happened.
So,
but
these places are a lot different than the first one. The first one was that weird psychedelic
that
maze.
First one's, yeah, that's awful. I'm glad that they changed it. Like these are a pain in the ass.
Sure.
And in reality, I can't imagine anybody actually was able to get all of them.
And they were. That's how amazing it is. But picture like a bobsled or like slide that you go down.
It's kind of bobsledding.
It is. It's like a bobsled ramp or like a slide, like a water slide. And the whole objective is to get a certain number of rings and avoid bombs, and you have to like go in different circles, and it's complicated.
And it's in 3D.
And it's in 3D, so it's like you're actually running straight forward and not to the side. So it's really interesting, and sometimes it's hard on the eyes, but you're just really focused.
Well, and having to get that pattern down.
Yes.
Like you can imagine sitting there with your friends for like hours.
You'd have
of
a
like,
notebook.
No, we got to, you got to go right, you got to go left,
Yep.
you got to go back, you got to go forward, you got to go side to side. Yeah. You got to loop around this one, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you for the Independence Day reference.
Thank you for knowing it. Thank you for acknowledging
You're welcome. Oh man,
that's so pathetic.
Which one, you or
so,
me?
Both of us.
But anyways, so like you can actually start those off at the
you
save
can find
points.
them everywhere.
Those save points.
Yeah, you got to have 50 coins.
Yep.
When you hit them, and if you have 50 coins when you hit them, you can go in it and you can do the special stages. Which as a kid I always skipped because I was like, this is annoying.
Sure.
I don't understand.
Why?
I'm not going to make it through. So I would just skip them. Which you can. Like, there's no problem with skipping them in
You
this
can play
game.
through the entire game without you doing those. Yes. We did it so we could actually get the emerald, because if you actually beat the stage, you get an emerald at the end.
We wanted to see what happened if you got all 7 emeralds, so we did it to get all 7 emeralds when we played it for the show.
Exactly.
But yeah, other than that, like I remember like we would try it every once in a while
Oh yeah,
as kids,
of course.
but it was always like, this is why are we doing this? Like, let's actually play the game.
And the worst part is in having Tails with you when you're going through it, is that Tails can also
Yes.
pick up coins, or rings.
Yeah, that little shit is this is where he's a pain in the ass because he's slower than Sonic, so he this is where it would help
Always
actually
half a
if you
second
did
behind.
if you got your friend or your sibling to be Tails during the special stages, because then that person could control it
and time it better.
and be on the other side for you or whatever. Because otherwise, you're just depending on the computer to make the reaction time right.
Because what you
he's
do,
not gonna
Tails will do, but a half a second later.
Yes. And he's gonna get hit by a bomb.
And if he gets hit by bombs and you
he's gonna
lose those
ruin your afternoon.
coins, ruins that run, and you have to do it again.
And you can do it a ton of times because there's a million different save spots on here.
Right.
So anyway, Emerald Hill Zone, it's a very bright, colorful looking beachy forest kind of look to it. We talked about the villains that are on it. We usually fly through this one pretty quickly. The end boss for this particular zone, Robotnik comes in and he's got I guess he's got like an excavator.
Yeah,
Like it's
kind of like a
it's a
drilling.
giant drill.
Yeah, think like a mole man type of thing. You're just like giant drill machine.
Yeah. It's got a big it's got a big nose driller on it. And all you've got to do, I mean, this is the easiest one to beat because it's the first level. They're just getting you used to it. Now, two things about this, because we can talk about this anytime, we might as well talk about it at the beginning. The score.
Oh, it's great. It's better.
Is fantastic. I do like there's certain levels that I really like the score in. Emerald Hill Zone, one of them. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Like, to me, that is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
that's Sonic. And the boss level.
Oh yes.
The boss fight.
It's so good.
It's so great. It might be one of my favorite pieces of score.
Yes.
Of all time. Is that boss score. It's just so good. I don't know if they have it in the movie, Rachel. I hope that they do. If they don't have it in the first one, I hope they have it in the second one or something, because we need a full orchestral. But you're able to get through Robotnik pretty quickly in this level, and that moves you on to zone number 2, which is one of my favorites. I know it gives Rachel a lot of anxiety.
Just a little bit.
This whole game gives you a lot of anxiety.
Anything with water.
But it's the chemical plant zone.
It's the sound in the song, I'm telling you.
Oh, of dying?
Yes.
So the design of this one is...
It's fun. I do like this one.
It's great. So you're in a chemical plant, either on the island or Robotnik's set up like some sort of chemical plant on the city. And it's very gray. The background is like a red city background.
Yes.
There's blue and yellow. Again, it's very colorful. There's bumblebees, or are they spiders? They're spiders, right?
Yeah. Those are spiders.
That attack you, and like little crab creatures. I don't know what they are. I always thought of them as crab creatures, but they're not really crabs.
No, I think they're the new crab creatures, because the old one did have crab creatures, but these have like a ball come out of their head. But yes, I would think that they're like a crab creature.
One of the things that's a feature of the chemical plant zone is you bust open a pneumonic tube.
Yeah, it's got to be like a tube
Is that
or a
what you
pipe.
call it?
Yeah.
It's like a tube, and Sonic goes in it, and it like shoots him around this tube.
Maybe it's like an air tube.
Really well. An air tube?
Yeah, like it's like pushing air. Like, it's like a vent of some sort, but instead it's a tube. It's like sucking in and air, blowing air out type of thing.
Yeah.
Full of chemicals. He's probably getting really irradiated from that, but that's fine.
It's very, very possible. Yeah, they never really say what kind of chemicals is in this, but it's obviously this giant plant.
It's blue.
And
we know it's a blue chemical. Maybe it's...
I would say it's more pink.
What? Oh, well, okay, the pink water, the blue goop
there's
coming
pink
through
water.
the other pipes.
Oh, that's right. It's blue. That is goop. I never thought about that. Okay. What's
you talk about like
blue
the weird
chemical?
looking caterpillar things that hop, like that's just goop.
Yeah,
it's just goop.
that is the goop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're getting somewhere.
We're learning things.
I learned something today. I was trying to think of like what we could analogize this blue goop to, but it is just that. It's some weird blue goop.
And maybe he's trying to harness Sonic's power. Maybe that's part of this. Because that's what's happening in the movie. So maybe that's what they were thinking is happening in the game.
You think he's trying to clone Sonic?
Yeah, maybe he's trying to like take parts of Sonic and become fast like Sonic. And that's why it's blue, because he got like some of his hair or something and it turned the goop blue.
It's very disturbing. I don't know why, but to me that's very disturbing. I'm okay with them taking little animals and making them into robots.
Oh my god. Taking little animals and just turning them into robots. Yeah, that's fine. But God forbid he tries to clone
because he doesn't
Sonic.
kill the animals. I mean, no.
Well, he might
that
have.
We know. Okay, that's true. There's probably several dead animals, and these are just the ones that worked.
That's what the goop is. It's just the crumbled up.
There is just... Oh, yeah, that's right, yes.
He's grinding them up.
Now it's just... It's just pig slop. Yeah, we lost another 10,000 squirrels. Put them into the blue goop bucket.
And the water's only pink because of the blood. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Robotnik has so much death on his hands. It's not even funny. The other fun part of this is there are the springs to bounce off of in this zone. There's also I was trying to think of what this would be, but the only thing I can think of what it looks like is the olden times, like 1950s, like exercise things where you
those gliders.
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about?
Where it makes you go faster? What do you think I'm talking about?
It makes you go faster.
You know how you go by the arrows and you like zing and you like zip down like.
Oh yes.
It'll zip you down
okay, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
What were you thinking I was talking about?
I thought you were talking about the yellow things, but I think that's in a different zone or part of the same zone, but a different. All right, so you're talking about the tire looking things that spin together.
Yes.
That you can like go in.
Oh yes, they're tires or something like that.
I don't know. There's some type of like circular or like,
I was thinking
or, like,
it's
maybe
like
it's like a what like the part of like the tread on a conveyor belt, you know, and it's like going.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's some sort of rubber, but that's why I was thinking of like the olden times, like it's gonna rub the fat out of you.
Oh, the
you
thing
just
where
stand
you just
there
jiggle. It just like vibrates, yeah. You just
That's right,
stand there and
yeah.
you jiggle.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, Rachel. I looked up what our blue goop is.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm excited now. This is we're looking it up real time for us. Okay, here we go.
This is real. This is real time, people. It's called Mega Mac.
Mega Mac. All right.
It is a pink liquid. Well, then that's the water.
Yeah, that's the water.
Okay, so I didn't find out what the blue goop was. This is the pink shit. The blue goop could still be the remains of all of the...
All the remainder.
It's a toxic liquid which can poison Sonic in a matter of minutes, while Japanese sources simply refer to it as water with an odd coloring. Tails has been unnerved by Mega Mac.
Oh my god.
All right, so I unfortunately, no. I thought I found what our blue goop was, but it's just the water is pink because it's Mega Mac.
Okay, interesting.
Oh wait, no.
Here,
some of the tubes are carrying blue Mega Mac. So there you go.
So it's Mega Mac. But what is Mega Mac?
Mm-hmm. I guess it's just this toxic chemical type of thing.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, you gotta be careful looking up blue goop and Sonic because apparently there was a curry that would turn your poop blue, and it was like a Sonic the Hedgehog licensed curry.
Can we get this verified?
Oh my god! It says that it was the stir-in curry sauce packaged in the States. That the curry color is just as blue as Sonic's Brilliant Blue.
Where were they selling this?
I don't know. And it's recent.
Was somebody just like, I'm making a curry with?
What?
Oh, probably for the movie.
Oh my god, it must. Oh, it looks disgusting.
I don't know why you'd want to do that. Why you'd want to eat blue curry to begin with.
It's so gross. Anyways, I'm sorry. That's the first thing that came up.
So maybe the blue Mega Mac is what went into this curry.
Maybe. It looks like it just like destroys your inside and your toilet. So I mean, I would just be really careful with that.
If you must do this, just put some blue food coloring in some regular curry.
Yeah, it might be safer.
You get the same effect.
Yeah.
So eventually in this level, there's a certain point in this level where you end up getting to the water.
Yes.
Or the pink Mega Mac, whatever it is. This is Rachel's first anxiety-inducing Kevin take the controller.
Awful.
Because you only have so much time to climb out of this section. So basically, like, it sets kind of like a trap for you. There are these building blocks that kind of make stairs, but at the same time they raise the level of the water.
Yep.
So you have to climb out of the blocks before the timer dings down and you die. And the entire time you're doing it, you get that ding ding.
Yep. If you're under the water,
Ding, ding.
especially, yeah.
But
I hate it. I hate it.
Once you get past that part,
right,
there is a little platform that you have to jump on, and then you have to jump from one platform to the other platform. And if anyone ever wants to make Rachel lose her goddamn mind, just ask her to jump from one platform to another on this game.
They're moving platforms. They're not like stationary, okay?
Yes, they are moving All right. Yeah, you're right.
You make
I'm
it
not
sound
being
like
totally
I can't
fair.
just do a jumping game. Like, come on.
Well,
I can play platformers. I'm not that bad.
I could do it. It is hard. It is really hard.
No, it is difficult. And then when you're
but
afraid of
that's
the
what-
water, because it's like the water is right below you. So then if you miss, then you're in the water, and now you're gonna sink to the bottom, and you're gonna.
And then you have to do it all over again with very limited time and space.
Oh.
But there is an extra life down there in the water that I always used to get because
Right.
I knew it was there, and I could make my way back before I would run out of air. Because you got to build up the lives if you want to win this game.
Yes.
In like Genesis no save proper,
Right.
you need to have at least like 20 some odd lives by the time you get to the end.
Yeah, max out your lives.
Great little parts in here with the water and everything, and it is still challenging, and I think that's why the game endures, is because it's still challenging. You end up getting into this section at the end where there's platforms that turn upside down and back, so you can fall in the water if you're not paying attention, if you're Sonic.
Right.
And Robotnik comes out, and if you fall in here, you're dead. So you can't climb up back out of the water.
Right.
Robotnik comes out, and this time he's got, another one of his, like, mechanical seat things. Like, he's in, like, this mechanical egg pod. But now he's got
He made a new attachment. This is his new attachment to his little egg pod.
How in the world would you describe this one? Because he's dumping the blue goo on you.
Yes.
But he's got, like, a pot above him, and
it's like a beaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's like a beaker.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a big coffee pot.
Yeah, it's a beaker. To me, it looks like a beaker. Because he is a scientist, so it makes more sense for it to be like a measuring beaker. And then it looks like it might be sucking up the pink water, turning it into blue goop, putting it into this beaker, and then the bottom part comes out, like, comes off of the beaker and, like, shoots the blue stuff at you.
Yes.
The Mac juice or whatever you called it.
I think, again, like, this boss isn't that bad, but it's because I've played this game 100,000 times. The hard part probably for more people than beating Robotnik, because you can get him a lot while he's loading up the goo.
Right.
And then you just need to, like, jump out of the way while the goo falls. It's timing it so you don't get overzealous, and after you beat Robotnik, not falling into the water? Into the water.
Yes. And then half the time when you have Tails with you on this, then Tails just falls into the water and dies over and over again.
Oh, yeah, he's just dying over and over again. But once you get past that, you let out all the little bunnies and eagles, which are what he was making the animals out of in the chemical plant, and you get through this act. Again, another good piece of score here where it's do 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 bow bow boom 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 boom. All right, now let's get to Rachel's Rachel's most fun ever, which is zone number 3, the aquatic zone.
Yeah, it's the aquatic ruin.
Yes. And I think this again shows that time element.
Right.
Where this could have been like the past on the island because it's like a ruins kind of a thing. Or it could just be another piece. It could be in the present too, because it could be like another like area of the island.
Because would it be a ruin back then, or is it like this is what it was, and then they built a city on it? Like how?
That's true.
What's
happening,
kind of a thing.
The main villains on this zone are these mole men.
Yep.
There's like not piranhas, but there's some other like fish kind of a thing that's attacking you too. But the mole men are all over the damn place. And these things pop out at the most inappropriate times to kill you.
They really do. It feels like they trolled you on that one a little bit. Every time you would jump up, all of a sudden it's like straight into that drill nose.
But this one is much more like green, I would say, is definitely the color like green and brown.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of green and brown.
Like a yellowy brown, yeah.
It's supposed to be the ruins of like an outskirts of a forest type of thing. So like you're supposed to be like in the tall grass, mountainous kind of thing. And there's 2 ways that you can go. You can go high and try to stay out of the water.
Right.
But there's more of like the ruins defenses. So like there's these statues that are shooting arrows at you.
Right, yeah.
And there's a lot more mole men. And if you fall, you end up on either the middle tier or like the bottom tier of the level, and that's where Rachel likes to hang out most because that is nothing but water.
That's my favorite place.
And you are in there. If you can't climb out of that, you are in the water, and you are there for a long time.
Yes.
Like almost the entire frickin' act. Like you are down there. They do a better job of it in this game than I think the first game, in my opinion, because you can move faster in the water.
Mm-hmm.
You can get more what you call it. You can get more bubbles to get more oxygen. I think.
Sure.
They come around a little faster than usual.
Those bubbles were just hectic, having to get the bubbles type of thing.
Those bubbles are just awful.
I mean, they're the best because you need them when you're under the water for so long, and then you're trapped in this little area, and you're like, "When am I going to be allowed to get out of the water yet? I'm going to just sit here and wait for a bubble, and then I'll go."
Having to have the patience as a kid to like wait for the bubble, it is hard because you just think like, well, I can get out of here, like it'll be fine, and then you run out of time, and then you have 2 seconds to jump up and get enough. Yeah, it's stressful. It teaches you stress. It teaches kids about stress and anxiety.
It caused many of them to continue having it as their adult years.
There's these different obstacles. There's like there's some like swingers at one point, like some like swinging like vine type
like people
things.
Who...
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry. It's swinging vines, yes.
No, yeah, you had to call me out on it. And most of the zone is trying to avoid some of these different booby traps, the mole things, which are penguins, or not penguins, pangolins or something like that.
Oh, are they supposed to be pangolins? Oh, okay.
Well, they got little yellow scruff.
I didn't think about them being pangolins. It was just because they have like the nose, that drill nose, it automatically makes me think mole and going into the ground. But
no, I'm saying when you pop them,
oh,
they turn into
little pangolins.
I think, isn't that what the name of the penguin with the little yellow scruff on its head is?
No.
What do you call that?
That's a penguin. That's like an emperor penguin.
No,
that's not an emperor penguin. It's like one of those little penguins.
Yeah, one of these guys. Yeah, they look like macaroni penguins.
Okay, a pangolin is totally different.
You're right. A pangolin started COVID-19.
I hated that.
All right, apologies to
are those
both
like
the macaroni penguins and the pangolins.
The pangolins have like that cool armor.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Pangolin probably could have been a character in one of the Sonic games.
Oh, absolutely.
There might be a character that is a pangolin.
They roll up too. Like it's pretty neat.
Yeah,
actually,
and then
maybe
they cause worldwide pandemics.
Stop it!
By being eaten.
Eaten?
I don't know if they ever actually have figured out what it was. I remember at one point they were saying it was a pangolin.
I don't think they ever said it was a pangolin. That was in
changing.
South Park.
Yes. Well, yeah, but I think that they got that from somewhere. All right. So anyway, where are we?
I don't know.
We're at the end of we're at the end of the aquatic zone, right? Okay. So the boss level at this one is there's these 2 totem poles. Robotnik keeps it pretty simple this time. He's in his pod again. He's in his egg pod, but this time he just has a big ass hammer, and he's just hammering the top of the.
Nice and simple, yeah.
He hammers the top of the totem pole. It shoots out an arrow. You gotta time it right to jump onto the arrow, and then you can bop them in the egg.
Right.
And it just takes it. If you're patient, it takes a minute or 2, and you're able to do it. Tails never is patient. He'll jump and get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Because he knows what you're gonna do, but he just can't time it right.
He constantly gets hit by arrows and everything. Yeah.
Again, not the hardest boss, but once you kind of get the timing down, you get through it. Now I think we get into what is a lot of people's favorite zone of the game, and that is the casino night.
Yeah, talk about color.
do 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 do
do do do.
Yeah, da 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 da.
It sounds like a casino's music. It's pretty great.
It's so good. You can kind of see where they were able to come up with Sonic Spinball.
Oh yeah.
Based on this.
Well, because this is just a giant pinball machine.
Yeah, Rachel, do you want to describe the Casino Night Zone? Because it is just I like to picture it again as either being Robotnik trying to take over the island via gambling by making his own casino,
yeah.
or this is a Biff Tannen-esque.
Oh, it's Biff Tannen-esque
future where Robotnik has taken over the island and he's made it into a giant casino.
And he's just at the top going, ha, 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 ha. Like, that's all I can imagine. With a big cigar in his mouth. But it is.
Oh yeah.
It is at night. You get like a really cool skyline in the back that's like all blue and lit up and different
Looks
colors.
like the Streets of Rage City is in the background.
Yeah, it does. And then you're kind of like in this casino hotel building looking thing. Like the colors,
all
everything, all
gold,
gold,
blue.
reds, it's flashing colors and everything. But then the way everything is set up, there's all these little bumpers. There's these little things that you can jump into, and it's like a slot machine. It feels to me like it's just this giant pinball machine that you're jumping through. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, there's a ton of spins. You just bounce off walls a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You spin on the ground to get momentum, and you end up getting like pushed by different, like you said, bumpers or flippers.
Oh, yeah, like the little flippers.
Around.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And your favorite part of the levels are when you end up at the places where you can jump. If you time it and you get the jump right, you end up in the
like behind bars.
game. Yeah, in like the slot machine.
You're in a slot machine because it does the rolling and it comes up with like the 3 images. And if you get Sonic, you get a jackpot.
Yeah, and you can get a jackpot. I can't remember. I think if you get all 3 Robotniks, I think you lose.
I think you die or you lose or something. Yeah.
Or lose all your coins or
probably.
something like that. But
you can get a lot of
clearly,
points from this level.
Yeah, you can rack up the coins. I mean, it is a
not
casino
even just
level.
the ring. It's not the rings. It's like the score. Like your actual points is what you're building up.
I mean, there's just a ton of different ways that you can go. There's like,
oh my God.
Like you said, like it's a kind of a hotelish vibe because there's like elevators that you can take to different areas.
Oh, and there's like a point where you have to like push down a button and it shoots you out, kind of like if you pulled back the thing on a on a pinball machine.
Pulling on a pinball machine.
Yeah, to get the ball coming back.
Yeah, it's definitely definitely a pinball machine.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you don't hit a lot of enemies in this one. There's
not a lot of enemies.
There are some, and they have like a shield.
I always avoid them.
Yeah, you don't really want to deal with them.
You have to hit them while spinning, but you almost have to hit them while spinning from the front, or if you don't get it right on, because like you said, they have a big butt.
Yeah.
That protects them.
Yeah, they put like the shield on their head,
of
or then they have like the claw on the front. I don't know. They're kind of a pain in the butt.
But there still are the spikes and the different tunnels and stuff.
Do you think it's supposed to distract Sonic, like get confused?
You think
and,
Sonic? You think Sonic could become a gambling addict?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, stuck in more of a maze. I could see that it being because it is
kind of
very
addicted
maze-like.
to it, kind of like just like constantly
I
flipping
thought
around.
You were thinking more of like he goes to a craps table and he just starts.
Either way, I think that would work. Yeah, he gets like mesmerized by the colors, and just gets stuck there.
I know we're on this mission, Tails, but I need to go put 200 on red.
Like my shoes.
I'm gonna go play the slots, Tails. You have to stay outside. You're too young to come in.
Just go find a buffet.
Oh, the buffet at the Robotnik Resort?
Oh, it's gotta be great. Whole rotisserie.
I mean, first of all, he's
cooking
cooking up all of those little woodland creatures.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's deep frying them
Oh
all.
God, everything is deep fried. Deep fried eagle, deep fried bunny rabbit. What else is there? Deep fried seals, or
deep
Casper
fried
ghosts.
penguin. Deep fried pangolin. not penguin.
Oh my god.
Maybe don't eat the pangolin. Just saying.
Maybe don't eat any fish. I wouldn't eat anything that Robotnik made. It's made with that Mac sauce. I'm okay, thanks.
Oh, but the Mac sauce tastes so good. There's people clamoring for McDonald's to release that Mac sauce.
Oh my god. Oh, I kind of wish they did that. That would be amazing if they partnered up with a
blue
movie
Mac sauce?
and they made
There you
blue
go.
Mac sauce and they make it like a Dr. Robotnik thing. That would be
I actually
hilarious.
kind of would like that. Yeah. I feel like McDonald's isn't allowed to because, you know, they're bad for you even though they're McDonald's. Like, of course it's bad for you. But I feel like they're not allowed to do a lot of that tie-in stuff anymore.
Really?
Because, well, I don't know. Maybe they are. I just feel like maybe like because Sonic the movie's for kids, like they'd get in trouble for being like, oh, you're...
I mean, they still do all like the Happy Meals and stuff. Why not just do like
I
a
guess that's
colorful
true.
sauce?
I think that they missed out on an opportunity to have Blue Mac sauce.
It's ridiculous.
They already have the Big Mac.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called the Blue Mac.
Oh my god, it's so perfect. Then I think kids would freak out though that you're eating a hedgehog. I don't know.
Potentially. Can we talk about this one spot in the... There's a spot in the second act of this zone.
Okay.
Which I always loved. It's the most aggravating spot in this act because this is an extremely fun zone.
Yes.
You bounce off of shit. You get to do the jackpot. It's a lot of fun. I don't know how to describe this, but you need to go through... There are 3 or 4 circle bumpers to the left of you.
Yeah.
There's a platform with a tilt bumper.
Yep.
On the top. And then you have to jump over it.
Oh, there it is.
Because on the ceiling on the other end, there's another tilt bumper.
Right.
And if you do it just out of natural instinct, you bounce off of all 3 walls and end up right
And
back
then
in the
go
same spot.
straight back. Yep. It shoots you back.
It's just a bang, 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 and it bounces you right back to where you want to go.
I can hear this.
You need to bounce in a perfect manner to land
To go in between.
in the right spot. Yeah, it is a don't go fully. You need to go in a very
It's like go, but then kind of hover for a second and then come in. It's obnoxious.
But overall, I think this is a very, very fun zone to be on. It's probably one of the best zones of the entire game, which is saying something, and I really like it.
Giant pinball machine, casino lights, fun. I like it. It's a fun zone. This is my kind of a casino. Like an arcade.
A fake one.
A fake one.
So I guess a little bit of trivia about this one was there was a wood zone, which was supposed to be a forest, and that was supposed to be the forest on the island. And this would have been the dystopian future of that. So it is kind of like what I was saying, where, it is
the
taking
Biff
over
Tanner. It's him at the top with a big cigar going,
Biff
I won.
Tannin.
What did I say? Tanner? My bad.
Tanner. Whatever. They knew what you meant. Excuse me, Shelf Life.
Calm down.
At 2 hours and 5 minutes into your podcast, Rachel says Biff Tanner. The name is Biff Tannin. I hope somebody got fired for that one. So anyway,
my no apologies. Sorry, not sorry. Don't care.
Yeah, I can't. I was editing something or listening to something, and I said Roseanne instead of Rosie O'Donnell. Nobody cares. Same idea. The end boss here is hard. Yes, in my opinion.
It's difficult. You got to rev up a lot.
Now at this point, you could have gotten Supersonic by now and cheat, basically.
It's not cheating. It's in the game.
I know. But the idea... All right. So let's explain what...
He does come in with his very brightly colored gold egg.
Oh, yeah. He's souped this thing up. It's his usual egg pod, but now he's got neon colors all over it. He's got, this thing at the top that's, I guess, powering it. It's this little, fan-looking thing. And he's got pincers that are electrified on the bottom. And I think he can pick you up with the pincers, and he can zap your coins out. This whole fight
and he also
takes
drops
place...
bombs.
That's right, he also drops bombs.
Yes.
And this whole fight takes place at the bottom of a pinball
zone
wall.
area. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a pinball game.
It's the
like
pinball
like
game.
if you get high enough up in there, like you realize like you're in a pinball game.
Right.
And the only way to defeat him is you got to get high. You got to get above him. So you have to either momentum yourself around the walls.
Yep.
So that you get high enough and then like can bounce on top of him.
Or jump
or
on
you have
those
to use
the
the
little
flippers and bounce up to defeat him. This one's tough. This takes a little bit of time and practice to kind of know when to avoid the bombs, not to get attacked. This is where having tails comes in handy too, because you can kind of have tails be bait.
Yes.
A little bit to like have him kind of go after tails while you try to like climb the wall and get up there.
Right.
But overall, a very good level with the very memorable score and very memorable sights and sounds. You save some bears and birds.
Yep,
I
looks
think
like
is this
it.
one.
Birds and bluebirds.
So the next zone is the hilltop zone.
Yes.
And I always thought that this one was a little alpine-y.
Yes,
But I
definitely
guess it's not
alpine-y.
really. You think it? Yeah.
I
okay.
think it is
So,
still.
yeah.
you got,
there's no
like, the-
snow.
No, but it's during the summer. It's fine. It's the summer months of the alpine zone. There's
'cause
still,
you're
like,
supposed to
the
be, like,
forest
above-
stuff and like the
Yeah.
evergreen trees.
You're supposed to be above the clouds. There's
Your
clouds
ears
in
are
the
popping. I
background.
can tell you that.
Oh, for sure. I bet. I don't know who's having a bigger fit about their ears popping, Sonic or Tails, but one of them is definitely having a fit.
Sonic, because Tails is used to being in the plains.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Originally, this was supposed to be in the past. That's where the volcano type, the lava
But you know,
comes from.
volcanoes still could be. They're just dormant
Oh,
in a lot of
100%.
places.
I'm just telling you like what the
No,
original
I get
like
it, yeah.
concept was. What you end up doing in this is there's seesaws,
Yes, with the circle
little
balls,
circle ball things,
which you
and
can't
you
save.
end up
They're
having
not
to-
animals. You can't save these guys.
I don't think you can. You just have to avoid hitting them.
Right.
And you have to seesaw yourself into different sections of the level. And this is why I say it's all alpine, is because you have to get into what is essentially a chairlift.
Right.
And kind of go up and down the chairlift.
Right.
The score also makes it sound like you're kind of in like a mountain town, because it's got kind of like a twang to it.
That's true. It does have a twang to it.
But a lot of what this zone is you end up going underground, and a lot of the time, and you have to kind of maneuver yourself around the lava. Maybe what these like chairlift things are is Robotnik going underground trying to excavate the emeralds. Actually, that is what it could be.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe it's his way of getting
because
around or bringing out the rocks or whatever.
Yeah, and because of his excavation, it's made the volcano kind of erupt, because it disturbed
You disturbed the
fault.
volcanic god.
No, I'm saying, you
No,
know,
I know what you mean.
like the fault kind of thing.
Sure, no. You start messing with the land around a volcano could be kind of dangerous.
Most of this zone is predicated on doing some jumps from place to place, trying to avoid the lava.
Yep.
And you end up spinning up and down on these things. The little ball guys are most of the badniks that you encounter, and then there's like the Loch Ness monster.
Which maybe that's why it's like in the past. It's like a dinosaur, or it's the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah, he seems very Loch Ness monster.
Oh, 100%.
But
And for
it
some
could
reason
definitely
they
be a
can hang
dinosaur.
out in the lava. You know, that's fine.
There's also there's two things we got to mention. There's the weird part that for no reason in Act 2, where there's the two springs that bounce off each other.
Yes.
For no reason, which is always fun to just sit there and make that boingy noise for no reason. And then toward the end of the act, you end up in a place where the volcanic activity starts to happen, so like
Right.
the screen starts to shake.
Yep.
And you have to kind of get yourself out of there because they're kind of like collapsing the mine or whatever.
Right.
So you have to like climb out of there before the
lava erupt, the
Yeah,
volcano
exactly.
erupts, and this is where another bad guy is. You have to avoid the stalactites or stalagmites.
Tights.
I think
are
it's
at
tights.
the
It's the
top?
one at the top that points down.
Folks, let us know.
But that's what you have to avoid doing that, because if you jump up too high or too fast, you might just go straight into a pokey dude.
That's right, a pokey dude. All the pokey dudes. Once you get to the end of this zone, you end up again facing Robotnik. This time he's basically in a submarine version of his contraption, and he is
in the lava,
shooting lava at you. So you have to avoid the lava, and then not only that, when he goes back into there's like this is a 3-prong attack.
Yes.
So he shoots the fireball at you. When he goes back into the lava, then he throws fire onto the main platform, so you can't stand there.
Yeah, you have to keep moving.
Does he come out with the tentacles in this one, or is that just Oil Ocean?
I think that's
might just be
Oil
Oil
Ocean. Yeah.
Okay.
This one's just the 2-parter, and he comes out from either side of the platform, so you have to just keep moving.
Got it. But eventually you are able to defeat him if you... This one I think just takes patience again.
Yeah.
And you're able to get past Robotnik.
Most of the boss fights, it's like, okay, now you went real fast.
Once you get the
down
timing...
a little bit, calm down.
Yeah. Once you get the timing, you're able to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, Rachel, we talked about one of your favorite anxiety-ridden zones. We
so
might as
mean
well
to
talk
me.
about your next one, the Mystic Cave Zone.
This isn't as bad.
I guess you were okay with this one.
I was fine. It's just a lot of moving things, okay?
I guess you're like in a mine
No, you're
or
like
something.
in a dark forest.
Yeah, well, there's like lanterns and stuff.
I mean, I guess it could be mine-like, but I don't know. It just seems like a dark forest to me.
Well, I cannot tell if the background, because it's like purple, if it's rock or if it's...
Oh, I thought it was trees.
If it's... yeah.
And it was just like the coloring because it's at night.
It's just night, because, which is fair. Yeah, I'm not positive.
But I kind of like the idea that it's like partially a mine as well. Because of the lanterns and everything and the boxes that you have to go
like
through.
Boxes, and because then the greenery could just be the walls or emeralds,
it could be.
Some
Moss,
sort of rock.
Wet, mossy walls. There are vines,
but
though.
Yeah, those are probably vines. Because the hard part about this one is you actually have to be slower than I think a lot of the other levels. You have to kind of time it out right.
Right.
Because there's like branches to get onto things, and you have to kind of time jumping onto the branch and then getting to the next one. And then there's these horrible spikes that come out of the wall.
Yes.
Constantly.
The moving spikes out of the wall. The platforms break constantly.
Yes, constantly breaking platforms.
There's these mean caterpillar snakes that flop out of walls at you.
Yes, that time it very, very well.
Oh God!
But that's why I almost think like maybe it is because it's called Mystic Cave, so maybe it is
a cave.
The
then.
mine. Yeah, maybe it is an indoor, like you're in the mines that Robotnik set up to mine for the emeralds.
Okay, I could see it. So it is like a mine, but it's like overrun with moss and vines and everything as well. I like that. No, I like it. Well, I'll keep it.
There's also a couple of places in here where you can die very, very easily.
Mm.
There's a couple of places where I think even if you have the supersonic on, if you fall into a pit in here, there's nothing but spikes.
Sure.
And that's it for you. And there's also so many places which we thought were vines, maybe they're walls or whatever, but
thick cavernous stone just shooting down at you.
Yes, or where you have to like hop up over them,
yes.
And if you get hit, no matter if you have supersonic or not, you're dead.
Yep, instant
that's
crush,
the end of you.
insta kill.
But the hardest part about this one, I think, is the spikes coming out at you when you're trying to stand.
And
on the
you don't even realize they're gonna come out until you're next to it, and then it like pokes you because it's like, oh, okay, that's where it's gonna come out. Cool. And then more of them come out as you jump on those.
I also like that so many of the comics have used these zones, like the Sonic the Hedgehog comic books have used these zones in like different places.
Yeah.
They're showing this one as being kind of like an underground mine, so I think that is kind of what it is.
No, it definitely looks like that now that I'm like looking at it again. It's just like colorful stones and rocks. Maybe it's just full of emeralds. Maybe those are all like emeralds because they're green. Some sort of diamond.
Yeah, he found like that kind of mine, so now he's got to find the actual chaos one or something
right.
like that. When we get to the boss in this one's called the Egg Digger.
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense. Yeah.
This time he's in his pot again. He's got 2 drill noses on either end.
Yep.
And he's going up into the rock face, And when he goes up into the rock face, it drops spikes and stuff at you, so you have to avoid the spikes, which is easier said than done. That is kind of, you have to be able to control and stop and pivot and move with Sonic at a good
moment's notice. Yeah.
But once he goes flat, you can bop up underneath him and you can take him out pretty quickly. But having to maneuver around everything is the difficult part. Now we get to...
You didn't say you get to save the mice or rats and chicks with this one. You had some chickens and...
Well, yeah, they're little chickens and
some sort of
either
rodent.
mice or rat. I don't know, some sort of rodent. This is where I always thought this was the furthest we ever got. You disputed that when we were playing the run-through of it for the show.
Yes.
I remember this being where the Genesis would either overheat, or we'd been playing for 7 hours, we needed to stop, or we just could not get past a certain point with enough lives.
Yeah.
And that's the oil ocean zone. And I think what this is, this is the most message-conscious zone of Sonic. This is telling you what Robotnik's up to. Like, he is gonna use the land. He's going to make this into like an oil drilling area.
Yeah, because he wants money. He wants power, and oil
money.
is money.
Texas gold.
Right.
And what this level or this zone is colored a lot differently than what you've seen. It's more purple and yellow.
Yeah, orange
with an
sky.
Orange background.
Yeah. So I can't tell. Do you think it's like a sunrise or sunset because it's like orange?
Oh, that could be. That could definitely be.
Or do you think it's like a polluted sky because of all those smokestacks?
That could also be. That could also be the case. Because I think you're supposed to be turned off by the color of the sky. The hard part about this zone is you have to try to stay as topside as possible. Yep. And you're going through, and there's like these wind blowers a lot.
Right.
And then there's these like, I don't know, they're like heating something up, and the top kind of blows off of them.
Pops off the top, I guess, to release the hot air to like breathe for a second.
And the other part of it is, like, there's these, like, cannon things that shoot you and whip you around the area.
Yeah, that's just a cannon thing that whips you around the area. I have nothing to explain those.
Of what that's doing or why.
Why is it there?
But it whips you around the area.
But then there's those slides.
Oh, the slides.
That are covered in oil, which I don't know, is that supposed to be like oil spill? Slides? Slick? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. And then there's the spikes at one point too that you have to avoid. But yeah, the oil slides where you kind of want to use them to your advantage, but if you stay on them too long or you mistime it, you end up at the bottom.
And you end up in the oil.
Bottom. Right, because if you end up in the oil, he can't swim in oil
at all
because he's a hedgehog. So you have to.
Well, I think it's thick.
Right.
He would just instantly drown.
You're trying to stay above it. So if you fall into it and you don't stay above it, he will drown.
Yes.
If you fall into it, you have to like keep jumping so that you can find a place where you can get out of it. And that's tough too.
And then we have the actual bad guys on this level. We have an octopus.
Yes, who shoots a little ink at you.
Is it an octopus or a squid? It must be a squid then, right? No, it looks like
maybe
an octopus.
It's a squid. Yeah, it's one or the other.
It's an ocean-based life form because then the other one is a seahorse.
Yes.
What was the other one? Is there another one after that, or is it just the seahorse and octopus?
No, I think that's mostly the two of them.
Okay.
That you see in here. I can't think of anything else that you end up having to fight.
But it's sea creatures, and it feels like they're trying to send a message with this one, definitely.
I agree.
That if you don't save them, they've just become mechanical animals.
Mechanical animal. Great album. So this is where the tentacles come out. So Robotnik is in a submarine again, but this time it's a submarine that can go in the oil. He pops out.
Yes.
And this is where you get the lasers and the tentacles.
Yes.
This one's tough. This one is tough.
This is usually, I think, where we got stuck. We would get through the level, and we'd get to here, and we'd either get killed and we don't have enough lives, or we'd drown in the oil.
If you fall in the damn oil, you drown so easily.
Right. So, but this is the one that has like the multi-step plan that Robotnik had, right? He's in his submarine, so now he knows where you are because he's in his sub and he comes out. But then he pulls out his Doc Ock arm tentacle, and one has a gun on it, and it shoots like a laser of blue fire that lights up the platform and also could hit you, right? And then it takes that down, and then it comes out with another tentacle that like jumps over you with a spike on it. So you gotta be careful not to get hit by
bees.
that. And the dogs with bees
at you. Yeah, there's so many ways that you can, and you have to wait so long for him to come back up.
Right, because it's like he's like checking real quick, and then he leaves again.
Yeah, like you only have so many seconds where you can hit him before you have to get the heck out of there and then avoid all of his junk.
Right. Because you can't hit the tentacles. It doesn't work. You just can't hit them.
Yeah, you can't. Or the laser thing. Well, I guess that's on a
tentacle. They're both tentacles.
So you're right. If you are able to get past him, this is when you end up in what amounts to Robotnik's factory. Like, I don't know if you would consider this like... I'm guessing this is like a Robotnik factory.
It's like
the zone is called
steampunk.
Metropolis.
It's like a steampunk factory.
Yes, there's a lot of steampunk going on in this one. You're inside of a factory, that's very clear.
Oh, yeah.
And you're moving around. It's a lot of green stuff. There's a lot of levers.
Yes.
And platforms.
And bouncy walls.
Bouncy walls. The tough part about this one is definitely there's the spike squares.
Yes.
That you have to maneuver around, and you can't get hit by the spike.
Right.
And then there's the starfish things that explode, and you have to avoid getting hit by the starfish.
And then there's like the crab with his arm that he shoots at you.
The crab, that's right.
Yeah. But so like when you're like stuck on the lug nut thing with and you're trying to spin it, and then these starfish shoot at you, and the crab is grabbing at you, and it's obnoxious.
Those are called shell crackers, I think.
Which one? The praying mantis, the crab?
Oh, the frickin' praying mantis thing. God. Yeah, this level. So you thought that we've gotten to this point before, like
I feel
in
like
our
we have
history of life. I just don't remember this level. I wouldn't
so
be surprised
familiar.
I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of times we got to this point, but this would have been it.
And
like,
this is what we
I don't
gave
think
up.
we've ever gotten. Yeah, because it's such a long game, and when you can't save,
right,
it becomes nearly impossible to keep going and actually win the thing. Like we said, you got to have so many lives at this point built up, because if you do not have the ability to save or rewind or whatever, you're gonna end up doing this level over and over again. One of the things I like about this level is the pulley system that you have to use.
Oh yeah, that's
too.
neat. That is neat.
And then there's that other thing with the rotating like circles and those.
Oh yeah.
The cogs, I guess is what you'd call them if you were smart.
The gears and the cogs and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where it feels steampunky to me because of all like the bronze, like I don't know, material. He uses a lot of bronze.
Interesting thing about this one though is that it has 3 acts instead of 2, like every other zone.
Yes.
This one actually has a 3rd act. Like it's supposed to be, I think, symbolizing to you that it's getting harder and you're getting toward the end, right? Because
I would think so. I mean, you're in his home pace now. I feel like at this point too.
Oh yeah. The one cool design element of this one is where that 3D spinny bingo ball roller is. I can't think of what it is.
It does look like a bingo ball roller. I didn't even think about that. It's like a wire mesh.
Tumbler.
Yeah, it's like a mesh tumbler. Yes.
But that was a 3D feature that they built.
It looks really
for
neat.
The game. Mm-hmm. So I think they were pretty proud of that one too.
I would be.
What's the boss at this one? This was an unfamiliar territory for us because, like I said, we have not gotten this far until we played it for Shelf Life. We were learning as we went. I think you're right. At some point, like as kids, I think we did get to this point, and this was probably the end. So This time he's got this ring of drones.
They look like
These,
eggs.
Clones of him manifest, and you have to not get hit by the balls.
Right.
But at the same time, then these drones are there, and the drones you can take out pretty easily, but you still have to pop them.
Yeah, they're like
And then you
balloons.
have
They're
to-
like balloons of Eggman in his egg machine. Or his egg hover machine.
And then you have to pop him when he expands the drones.
Yes.
Then you can pop them.
Yeah, they orbit around him.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not making a fat joke.
Well, now you are, because now you said it.
Shut up.
I wasn't even thinking about it, but now that you said
I
it.
was gonna be like, he has his own gravity.
Dr. Robotnik has his own orbit. Boom! Take that, you fictional character. You fat bastard. What are we doing with our lives?
I don't know, I'm tired.
So
my jokes are gonna get worse.
We're close to the end now, because now you end up in the Sky Zone. So now what has happened is Sonic and Tails decide, or we're taking this to him.
I'm just gonna call
Screw
it.
this.
It's not a blimp.
Screw this mustachioed ass clown. We're gonna take down the Death Egg ourselves. They get into the tornado, which is Sonic and Tails' plane that Tails is very adorably piloting.
Oh, it's so cute, because it's like one of those older planes too, with the... it's so cute. I like it.
And you're in the air, and Tails does a pretty good job of if you jump, he comes and gets you.
Oh,
I know when we
immediately.
were playing this, I was afraid that he was not going to have the
You wanted him to move
reflexes.
the plane before you moved, and I was like, that's not going to happen. He's going to stay underneath you because he's your platform.
Well, I was a little afraid of it. But you end up with what look like pterodactyls.
Yeah,
they're
there's
some kind of
they're
bird.
pterodactyl jet planes, right? That's coming at you. Then you also have these what look like goofy characters, or like in an egg. They're green.
I thought they were turtles.
No, there's turtles, but then there's also these weird egg-looking things that have something peeking out of it with a little twirly gig above their head to keep them afloat.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what that
I don't
is.
know. I thought it was
what is
looks
that?
kind of like Pete from Disney.
Yeah,
It's like a
it
goof
looks
troop
like a goof troop
style looking. Yeah, I don't know what
the
it is.
nose
Again,
and everything. I just well, we fly next to his giant gold airship.
yes, yeah. You fly next to that for a second, and then it goes to the next zone. That's the end of it. You end up in this wing fortress zone. So Robotnik realizes that you're there, so he starts shooting at you, and he hits the plane.
Yes.
And the plane starts to go down. We didn't realize right away that you have to jump off of the plane or you die. So you have to jump off the plane onto the fortress.
Right.
So then you end up in this giant airship fortress thing. You made me do this, and this was anxiety ridden for me because
yeah, okay,
you did because you have to all you see on screen for most of this zone is nothing but blue sky.
Yes.
And you have to jump from platform to platform.
That's right.
It's fucking terrifying because if you don't land right, you can't make the jump.
True.
And then you
just
you're
fly
just
off of
stuck.
it.
Once you get higher, because you're basically climbing to the top of the fortress to try to find your way in.
Right.
He's got all of these chickens with guns that shoot at you.
Yeah, they're just chickens.
To try to
they're
stop
just
you.
chickens that pop out of a nest and start
Well,
shooting
they're
at you.
robo chickens. I think that's a big thing in Sonic. If you watch
it's just a chicken coming out of its nest.
But if you watch the cartoon and stuff, those chickens are his main thing.
It's so interesting.
That he uses.
He loves chickens because he's an egg. Because he's Eggman.
There you go. I was gonna say Gonzo before him. He loves chickens, but yes, because he's an egg. Either reference that you want, folks at home, take either one. It's fine.
Oh, you hated the part where there was the bar you had to hang on to? And then you had to, you couldn't swing.
That's what I'm
but
talking
you had
about.
to jump
That
over.
is-
That's the part.
is
Oh my
scary.
god. Yeah.
I literally got it does that thing where you get the pit in your stomach because you feel like you're falling down.
Yeah. So heights for you and water for me. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Video game heights or water. So eventually you end up kind of like hanging off the side. There's platforms that come out. There's so much jumping and potentially falling to your death.
Right.
This is where you need to have so many lives built up. Now, when we played it, by this point, we were able to take our time.
Ooh, this is fun.
Rachel was
It took me a while.
insistent on getting all the Chaos Emeralds just to see if we could.
Yes.
So we had done this, and at this point, we had collected all the Chaos Emeralds, which means that I triggered, by accident or not, Supersonic. So when you trigger Supersonic, if you're able to collect all the emeralds, he becomes yellow.
Yeah, he like
or gold.
like golden flame because it like goes
this
up in the
giant
air.
spikes on the top of his head now, and he can fly or float. He like kind of fly
hovers.
floats.
Yeah,
he does what you call the Naruto run.
Oh, he
with his
Naruto
arms.
runs. Yes, he has his arms behind him and he runs. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure that some of them do. So we didn't get the full effect of having to take on this next mini boss, because at this point there's like 2 mini bosses left in the game. The one is once you get inside of the plane, the blimp plane thing.
Yes.
You end up face to face with Robotnik, but he, again, like in the first game, he has that shield up so that you can't get to him.
Right.
That Phantom Menace shield. And then he unleashes this like mechanics to kill you, and it is these spikes, these spike cylinder things that look like from Wild Wild West. Do you remember this from Wild West?
Yes.
It's the first comparison that I thought of from that terrible movie.
I think I know. Yeah, with the blade ones were like just blades that flew around. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that kind of thing.
Yeah. They look like the neck piece.
And then there's this laser thing that looks like just a big nipple.
It does look like a nipple. I was gonna say it if you did it.
It's very nipple-ish. But you have to bang against the nipple
when it's open.
When it's open to bring down the shield. It's the shield generator.
Yeah, it
You're
must
trying
be.
to bring down the shield generator. As any good video game, there's a shield and you have to bring down the shield.
Sure.
That's just good video gaming 101. There's a shield. We need to stop the shield. We were doing this with Supersonic, so it took nothing at all because he was invincible, and we just kind of pop,
absolute
and pop
spaz.
it. But if you were really doing it, it might take some time. Now, Rachel, before we go into the last level, I would like to bring up something that I learned from my research,
Okay, I'm
which
excited.
is it wasn't always going to be that once you collect the 7 emeralds, you automatically have the power to be supersonic.
Okay, interesting.
What was going to happen was you were going to collect the 7 emeralds, and that was going to unveil to you a secret level called the Hidden Palace Zone.
Okay.
And then you had to make your way through the Hidden Palace Zone, and at the end of the Hidden Palace Zone, you'd get all of the emeralds and have the ability to go supersonic. So there was like an extra level.
Okay.
In the game.
Interesting.
They had to scrap it for like memory purposes because like they've actually like have some of it.
Oh. They had some of it written.
Yeah, like there's footage of it. You can see it. I think there was some of it in like the demo that they did at some of like the conventions and stuff like that.
Okay.
And Nakamura has like a score of it and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So now we've made it, folks. We have made it to the final level of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the Death Egg Zone.
Yes. And now, right before we get to it, though, Sonic is staring at Eggman on a rocket ship.
Yeah, Eggman. Yeah, Robotnik takes off on a rocket ship.
Yes.
So Tails comes back in, souped up his plane. Did you notice this?
Yeah, he like put on
he's got
some type
like
of like
he's got like a rocket
thrusters.
propeller thing. Yeah.
He like knew this was coming. He's like, hold up.
Sonic, I put a jet engine on the plane.
But he at least gets you high enough and close enough that you jump onto this rocket ship with Dr. Robotnik. And this
is
takes
where
you to the new zone.
That's right. I kind of like the idea that you are supersonic at this point, and that's why you can survive in space. But In any event,
Yes.
Can hedgehogs could do that, Rachel? I know that we found out that they can swim.
I mean, I guess if they hold their breath until they're on the platform.
Survive in space.
I guess we'll have to test that out. Let's take some hedgehog to space and see what happens.
I bet either us or the Soviets took a hedgehog, and well, maybe not, because hedgehogs are more Japanese or Asian in nature, so maybe not. So, 2 things that you have to do on this level, and that's it. You have no rings.
No rings whatsoever.
You get encapsulated into this area of his fortress, and from like behind a wall, Robotnik unveils to you the mini boss of the game, which is Mecha Sonic.
Which, see, he was trying to make Sonic the Hedgehog, but he decided I'll make him a metal one instead.
You're right. Because it's this taller, he's got spikes. He goes into a ball with the spikes,
right.
and it looks like Sonic. This one was tough.
Oh, yeah.
For me. Because you have to touch him very, very delicately. What I ended up doing was spinning to attack him.
Yes.
Like doing the spin at the right time. But if we weren't doing it the way we were doing it for speed purposes, it would have taken so many lives.
Oh my god,
it was awful. Get through this guy.
And he's just behind his little window with his nose poking out like
all you have to do is hit him 4 times, I think.
Is that it? Was that it? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 8 times, but that's it. That's all you have to do. But it's so hard to do.
It is.
Once you get past Mecha Sonic, the wall comes up and Robotnik tries to run away.
And this is where he Naruto runs.
This is where he definitely Naruto runs. It is the most peculiar thing looking at this man
he's
with,
got his Mickey
with
Mouse
chicken
pants
legs.
on. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And he runs into his own Robotnik robot.
His Megazord.
Mega Robotnik. They just call this the Death Egg robot, but I like Mega Robotnik better.
Yeah, that's even better.
I found this to be very pattern-driven.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Now, like, I was able to figure out the pattern pretty quickly.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Because what he does is he shoots out his arms at you.
Yep.
He goes up into the air, and when he goes up into the air, he tries to target you, and you see the target. And when it starts to go beep, 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 you just move, and he comes down and he's trying to, like, stomp on you.
Right.
But from there, all you need to do is kind of hit him in the belly a few times. and when he starts to kind of backpedal, you just kind of move away.
Right.
So there's definitely a pattern to this. I actually found Mecha Sonic to be way harder
I agree.
than this one.
I agree. I think that Mecha Sonic was harder than Megazord Robotnik.
Which is sometimes the case. I think when we find these old games, the mini-boss sometimes is supposed to be such a preventive measure to get you from the boss, so that when you get to the boss, it's almost like a reward so that you were able to beat the boss and think like, yeah, I did it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Unless it's Streets of Rage, and then he just takes out his minigun. You have to be really careful not to get hit by it.
But even in that, I feel like Shiva is...
Oh no, Shiva's way worse.
Mini-boss's name? Yeah.
Oh, so much worse.
Tough. So once you bump the big Robotnik robot enough, the Robotnik robot starts to explode.
Yep.
And this triggers
a chain reaction of explosions in the
it's
the
basically
ship.
Like a what would you call it? Like a self-destruct.
Yeah. Maybe
like
that's
almost
what's
like
happening.
He almost kind of self-destructed it, like in case he goes down, and Sonic has to run out of there before the thing
and
blows
then just
up.
jump into space.
Jump into space. And then you get in a lot of these games, you get the final cut scene.
Oh, it's like a little comic, almost.
You want to tell them the ending, Rage?
Okay, so it then goes to it cuts to a little black and white image of the woodland creatures looking at this big bright explosion in the sky with Tails, because Tails must have gone down and like parked the plane, right?
Right.
So they decide we gotta go get Sonic. Like we're gonna go see if we can save Sonic. Maybe he's falling. We don't know what's happening. So he gets
because all they see is this big ball
this
of
big,
light, like it's an
bright
explosion.
light explosion. Exactly. So then
this is Tails' hero moment.
Oh, absolutely.
This is his Samwise Gamgee moment.
He gets in that plane. The birds are
This
following
motherfucker gets
him.
in that plane. He's got a bunch of eagles behind him.
A bunch of bald eagles. God bless America.
And Japan.
And Japan. I don't understand the bald eagle thing, but because it's not like all of the different birds. They had bluebirds and stuff too. It was just bald eagles.
There's 2 different endings. I kind of like the one ending better, but go ahead. Go ahead.
And they find out that, well, Sonic's actually flying himself, so they just fly along with Sonic.
Because he's got the Chaos Emeralds,
right,
so
and
he can go
he's
supersonic.
And then
And they all fly.
Yes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. That's it. That's what happens. They all fly together, and that's the end. Roll credits. At the end of the credits, though, you do get a little extra stinger.
What is the stinger? I don't even remember. Did we wait till the end of the credits?
We did.
Yeah, they kind of like come at the screen and they like, you guys rock. You beat Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which we did just for this podcast.
Which was fun, actually.
Not totally fair, but we did do it.
We may have had to use some rewind power and quick
One
saves.
day we'll do it for real, but it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah, okay, so I guess you don't get a stinger if you get all the emeralds. The last thing that happens is this weird logo of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and it doesn't look like the actual logo. But if you didn't get the emeralds, Kevin, what happens?
And I like this ending better.
Go ahead.
I don't know what the cutscene is or the stinger, but I do know that Tails really gets his hero moment because Sonic is just free falling, and Tails saves Sonic. Like with the plane, he saves him. That's also a good moment, in my opinion.
No, I like that.
For Tails. You want to get those Chaos Emeralds, but I also like the ending of Tails being able to save him. I guess either way, Tails was willing to sacrifice himself to save Sonic.
Oh, absolutely.
But in the one he actually does, in the one Sonic's already kind of using the emeralds, but...
Oh, you know what's... Okay, here, I looked it up real quick just so I could see the differences, right? So yes, he's free falling. It's kind of like he's just like holding out his arms so he falls slower. And Tails catches him and the bluebirds are flying beside them instead of the eagles.
Interesting. I don't know why it's different.
And they fly off and then they do that little at the end, right? But this is when, after the credits, because now you didn't get all the emeralds, we don't know if Dr. Robotnik's dead.
I assume he's dead, but I mean, obviously there are dozens more games in 30 years of Sonic, so...
I know, but I kind of want to know the story. Like, did he do the self-destruct and then jump into his pod and leave? I need to know.
Maybe we'll find out on another episode of Shelf Life in the future.
I'm very excited about
That's
this.
all I can say. That's all I can say. Because I don't know how many Sonic games we will do, but Sonic 3 I'm sure we'll do because that is also considered
I assume we're doing Sonic Golf, right? I mean...
There's a Sonic Golf?
I think there is.
There's definitely a Mario Golf. I don't know about Sonic Golf.
Sonic Golf 3D.
Okay. Add it to the list. But that is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. We've documented it. We've gone through it. We've played it. We've gone through it in excruciating detail, which means that it comes time for that part of the show. Rachel, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, do either or both have shelf life?
Short answer, absolutely. Iconic games. I think they belong on the shelf. I enjoy them so much. Even as like an adult, going back and replaying it, it was so much fun. It's great, and I really like it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say, and there's so much to say about this game, or these games. The second one hits me more in the nostalgic spot because that's the game we had.
Of course.
But I still think after playing both of them, the second one both of them are great. The second game, in my opinion, is one of the greatest video games of all time. It's still hard as an adult. The soundtrack kicks ass.
Absolutely.
The gameplay is great. Having both Sonic and Tails is great. The levels are a lot of fun. The first game is also a very good game. It's a lot of fun. It's obviously iconic. It's just a little slower, but it's still a lot of fun.
It's still hard not to get into. Yeah.
These games are a lot of fun 30 years later. And now that could just be because we are the age we are. Sure. You know, I mean, well, let's be honest about it. So, somebody that's 10 years younger than us could pick this up and after
like,
our
"This
recommendation and be like, this sucks.
Yeah.
But this is our show, and
and what we say is the truth.
That's right. So, yes, absolutely. Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 go on the shelf. The second one is a definite recommend. If you've never played this game, I absolutely recommend it.
It's
a challenge.
Absolutely.
But once you kind of get the hang of it, I'm sure, especially younger listeners, will probably figure out the patterns and stuff a lot faster than our old asses can. But that to me is the mark of a good game. It's timeless. It is a timeless game.
Yes.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So thank you to, everyone that made it, because it truly was a game changer for the time. And it gave us hours of entertainment.
Absolutely.
Still does.
It does. It still does. Yeah.
So that being said, any other parting thoughts, Rachel, for Sonic?
I don't think so. I think we've done it. I'm kind of curious to see what happens in the next games too.
Yeah, well, one day, I'm sure we will get to Sonic 3. We've got... Okay, let's take a look at this. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. No, you gotta flip the page. Do that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, there's another one.
Let me just kind of... Oh, hang on. It's unfurling on me.
Yeah,
okay.
that's...
Oh, God.
Right.
Oh, God. There's... Oh, God.
You're just
hang
all
on.
tangled now. Calm down.
Oh,
You're gonna rip
Christ.
it.
No, hold on. All right. I think I got it shut. Hang on. Okay, there. Okay. There's a lot on the list, but we'll get to it one day. So, in the meantime, come back with us for our next episode. We will pull down another item from the shelf, or we will pick it up and see if it gets a new life on our shelf, because I am Kevin.
And I'm Rachel.
This has been Shelf Life. Thank you, and we will see you next time.